And we're live.
Just realized my whole setup is just off kilter here. Anyways, hey everybody, welcome to we're back. PM in the PM. That's right, Pog and Bav in the PM on a Thursday night. I hope you all are having a hell of a week so far. I hope you had a great week last week. Since we didn't get to talk to you then, that was my bad last week. But we're here. Mav's got allergies. I am sick again. Boy oh boy, like I was telling Mav, I take care pretty damn good care of myself. I take supplements, I take a lot of vitamins, I take a lot of stuff even when I'm healthy. But stress is a killer, man, and they're not joking about that shit. My immune system, this is the worst I've been in a winter. Like I was telling Matt, probably about 15 years catching shit. So I can't remember the last time actually that I had this many sicknesses pop up on me. So, but I am here. I'm going to give it a go. Mab may have to take over if my throat gives out on me later on, but we're going to give it a go tonight. Um, man, oh man, wild, fascinating time to be alive in this universe, man. I'm telling you, uh, this isn't the show to talk about a bunch of different things, and maybe someday in 2026 when I start my own show, that's the plan. We'll get into other topics, but what a fascinating time to be alive, man. Conspiracy theories are being proven left and right. We've got the mainstream media burning down over and over again in this industry and elsewhere. It's just a wild time. It's just so much fun, and you all know me well enough. I've talked enough I hate big government, so I'm just eating up a lot of goodness right now on top of my real world just being totally stressful. But I'm having a great time on top of this gaming industry, giving me a ton of games to play, and a ton more on the way. But holy shit, do we have news? It's not big news this week. It's not big news, but we've got more games kind of being floated out there. We've got potentially Strauss confirming GTA 6. We're going to talk about that. Got the Avowed team, as you saw in the thumbnail, coming through at least partially for the console, which, Mav and I, we're going to get into that because that's something we've preached and preached and preached, and we were hoping for Avowed. We got tons of stuff. We got executives not learning their lessons seemingly yet again. Like, man, I'm coming up on 50 this year, folks. I'm starting to become, me. I'm a glass half full guy. I am. This is the golden age of gaming. I still believe that through and through. But man, it is the cynicism starting to come through for me, man. In this industry, holy shit. If you guys aren't going to learn your lessons, whether you are devs, whether you're publishers, like I don't wish for any people to lose their jobs. I'm not like that. But if you guys aren't going to learn your lessons, if you're going to let people fail upwards every single time, I'm sorry. I guess maybe we should go through a contraction period in this industry at some point and maybe trim some of the bloat. Because man, some people just don't seem to learn their lessons. We might get into that a little bit. It's kind of a fun one. Of course, I'm talking about EA, but we got Battlefield news. God, man, we do have some fun stuff to get into. Nothing major this week, but we got some fun stuff to get into. Missed you all last week, gamers. Always miss you guys. This is part of the therapy session, especially when real life is wild, and right now it is wild and crazy. So missed it last week. Missed being here with my brother. I got to talk to him on Friday night, but it's not the same as him and I chopping it up on Thursday nights on PM to PM. So thank you all for joining us again. So math, fun speculation. What's been going on with you, man? How's your week been? What you been up to, brother?
And I've been in mourning a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Mavs traded Luca. So we've had
I hit you up in the DMs about that one, brother. I don't, you know me, I don't do sports much anymore, but
yeah.
I saw that and I was like, gee,
Yeah. It's been
you guys might. I'm just gotta say this real quick, man.
yeah.
We'll see how this plays out, but I'm just thankful there's a chance that the Herschel Walker trade will no longer be the worst trade in sports history. There's a chance here on
But
this one.
that
I'm
benefited
thankful
Dallas.
for that. Huh?
That benefited Dallas.
That benefited you guys, but not the Vikes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just thankful that this one might surpass that as the worst trade in sports history. We'll see. We'll see. But
We'll
Jesus, yeah, go ahead.
see. I mean, there's going to be a future ahead. Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
interesting. So I could have a whole 5-hour podcast just talking about basketball right now, probably. But that's not what we're here for. So, times move on. I'll still be a Mavs fan regardless of what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been other than that, man, been an interesting time for gaming. Lots of things happening. More doom and gloom and more people acting surprised every move that Xbox makes, it seems like. And while I'm just sitting here enjoying these games, and one of them I've been enjoying even more so as actually Tokyo Extreme Racer, still been spending more time with that. And God, the gameplay loop on that game, it's just so damn addicting, bro.
Mhm.
It's just so damn addicting, man.
It's a little crack like.
It is like, man, I just gotta get past this boss, or figure out how to get past this boss. But then, oh man, I can't level up this car anymore because I'm kind of maxed out. And how can I get some more speed out of it to get past this, and then be able to move to the next levels here so I can unlock more stuff for more cars. Like this whole grind aspect was kind of like the thing I talked to you a long time ago and other people about what I was missing from racing games, you know?
Yep, yep.
And Tokyo Extreme Racer's been bringing that to me full force. But because of all of the crazy talk regarding Forza Horizon 5 after they announced that it's officially going to PlayStation,
Mm.
and I was like, man, it's been a while since I've really kind of dove into Forza Horizon 5 too much, and I had never booted it up on my PC. I played it only on my console,
Sure.
and since I got the PC, I was like, I played Motorsport on it for sure because that was a newer game. But I was like, I gotta, stream and play some Forza Horizon 5 on PC while I talk about Luca and stuff. I was talking to the chat and everything, and also the news had just come down about for the franchise going to PlayStation and stuff. So, but I gotta tell you, dude, like just
Yeah.
booting it up again and playing on PC, it's just a reminder of how amazing Forza Horizon 5 is. Like from the graphics to the handling to the diversity of cars to the handling of the cars to the amount of content and things there is to do. But then your just eyes melt. Like
Mm.
when you're in a race, it's just like seeing all the other cars and everything. I got my Fun Speculation Supra I was having fun racing with. I had a custom RX-7 I was having fun racing with, and just tons of other stuff, man. It's like I just got wow. I could really just play that right now for months if I wanted to and be
Yeah.
completely content. Or I could play Tokyo Extreme Racer and be completely content. That's still in early access for a few more months, and or all these other games coming out. It's like there's so much awesome stuff to play, and it's really cool to have games that came out 4 years ago to still be supported and updated and look and play as good as they are today. And that's one of my favorite things with gaming now is just the games that come out, they just get better and better and better. And I I made a post, like, I know there's a lot of controversy around the PlayStation thing, but I am happy for anybody that has never gotten to try a Forza Horizon or a Forza game, period,
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
actually take their blinders off
Mhm.
and experience this game,
Mhm.
because I think it's kind of like a revelation of like, wow, this really is the best racing experience, maybe maybe ever. I mean, we can go back to nostalgia days and talk about, especially for arcade racers, we can go back in nostalgia days, talk about PGR, you can talk about like Need for Speed Underground, you can talk about Midnight
Midnight.
Club,
Yeah.
talk
Yep.
about like San Francisco Rush, you can
Yeah,
talk about,
and there's I think there's still something you can pick out of each one of those,
yeah,
right? That
for
is still a
sure.
strength, and Forza Car PG, right? It's different. We've talked about this. This is an open world car PG, and there's nothing really like it, man.
Yeah.
They're just
Just
it's special.
but as for like just
Yeah.
combining everything into this all encompassing
Mhm.
massive racing game that's kind of hasn't something for everybody. It's just really special game. So
Yeah.
hey,
Agreed.
enjoy the game, people. I hope it does well. So Forza Horizon 6 gets supported even more, which I think we all know is going to be probably the biggest racing game release ever when that drops. Forza Horizon 6. I think it will be. But yeah, other than that, man, just been dabbling in this and that. NBA 2K, been hopping into that, experiencing the trades. At night, I've been playing Mavs versus Lakers, seeing how that plays out. So far, I'm
You're torturing
50-50.
yourself.
I am,
You're
dude. It's like
torturing
it
yourself,
is
bro.
it is it's crazy. It's been
Yeah,
crazy around here with the fan base and everything. It's
of
in
course,
Dallas,
man.
but
You gotta
but
when
yeah.
you're in it like that, and I was in it for decades, right? In football and basketball, and those trades, man, you just when you're in it, it takes over the
Yeah.
life, man. Until you think about it, you roll around in your head, you're constantly analyzing it as if you're on payroll, and you're not on payroll, but
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
honestly analyzing. So I know exactly how you feel. That's why I hit you up in the DMs because I was like, "Geez, man, holy shit, really?" So I get it. I
Yeah,
get it,
and I'm
brother.
not as into
No,
as I was before, but
right?
there was a period in time
Yeah.
when I went maybe like 12, 13 years
Mhm.
without ever missing a Mavericks game on TV,
Right.
like either live or when I got home that night. Like
Yep.
that day when they played, had to see it. After
100%.
after the championship run and after Dirk got a little bit into his twilight years, it kind of tailed off a little bit. I still definitely keep up with everything, but yeah,
Yeah. Still tough.
it's crazy, bro. Absolutely crazy, man. But
I
yeah,
saw
you've
I saw
been
I saw a video. I saw a video. Somebody posted it, and obviously it probably was scripted, but I think the dude was probably a big Mavericks fan. I don't know if you saw it, but his girlfriend was recording him, and he was devastated by the Luka trade, and she kept pronouncing his name wrong on purpose over and over again, asking him about it. Like she came up with like the craziest, stupidest names, and he's just yelling at her because he's all depressed about it, and he's like watching ESPN and watching Luka highlights, and she keeps talking to him about it and saying his name completely wrong. Oh god, it was hilarious. I thought about you the whole time. I was like, Jesus, man. Yeah.
How
For
you
me,
been?
yeah. Yeah, go ahead. What are you gonna say?
I was gonna say, how you been? What you been
Yay.
dabbling in?
Dabbling in everything, man. Dabbling in everything. So, Sniper Elite Resistance,
Mm,
still,
yeah,
I I understand why people say, it might not be up to par, with the last one, overall, but I still, again, it's just fast food. I use that term a lot, but I mean that when I play some of these games, I don't judge them like other games. Like I just go in knowing I love the whole idea behind it and I'm just going to have a blast. And I like clearing out the levels of like I'm not looking to speed run them, right? I'm looking to clear out everything,
yeah,
be as stealthy as possible, see what kind of crazy shots I can try to pull off, right? Um and I'm just having a great time with Sniper Elite Resistance. So I've been plugging away at that. Eternal Strands, still plugging away at Eternal Strands again, just little bit by little bit. Nothing, no long stretches because again, been under the weather, been dealing with craziness in the house and work and holy shit. But plugging away at Eternal Strands, still having a good time with that game. I still think it's got a ton of potential as I get my powers. I just start beefing up some of the powers and stuff. Loving that. There are some minor annoyances with that game, like I've said before. Fast travel and that kind of stuff is there that should be in the game. I think the map system is a little lacking as well as far as when you're trying to look at what you need to do next on some of the missions. But overall, outside of the zoomerific stuff that I've complained about, the powers and stuff in the world, the exploration, I love that. So I'm still having a good time with Eternal Strands. Again, both of those in Game Pass, so no risk, right? Just download them and play them. Having a
yeah.
blast there. Then I had to try Far Cry New Dawn because I got the boost. They updated it. Ubisoft updated it and threw it in Game Pass for us. So if you guys haven't played Far Cry New Dawn, certainly story wise, not close anywhere in my top like 5 Far Cries. But is it a Far Cry game? Yeah, it's a Far Cry game. So you know what you're getting into. It's a smaller Far Cry experience. But they updated it. So it's 60 FPS, 4K on the big screen. If you don't know, that one is a set post-apocalyptic style, but everything is super bright color wise due to like the radiation and that kind of stuff. There's tons of neon, like the
Hmm.
gang is all neon colors. Plants, the wildlife, even the deer have like fluorescent pink antlers. Um, on a big screen on the OLED in 4K 60 pops, bro. Just pops. Like it's gorgeous. Like it's like ridiculous. So I had to check that out a little bit just because it was a free update and they threw it in Game Pass. So I was like, oh screw it, I'll download this shit.
Yeah,
Then
fun
Mav, I
game.
had to go.
Those Far Cry
Yeah,
games are amazing, like with the optimization.
Yeah, they run extremely well. Like I said, it's not one of my favorites by any stretch of the imagination, but it's still a fun time. Fast food again.
Yeah.
I know what I'm getting into with Far Cry. It is what it is.
The cool thing about
Um,
New Dawn too,
yeah.
sorry to interrupt, but like
No, no, go
if
ahead.
you
No, go ahead. I
finish,
didn't know how much you played it. I didn't know how much you played
yeah,
it.
I haven't finished it or anything, but if you
Okay.
finish 5,
Yeah.
right? Like the way that ends,
Yeah.
this
And it
sets
goes
up it sets up for like New Dawn to make sense,
right.
you know?
Right.
So it's
Which I
really
didn't
cool
do,
how
but I
they
knew that was
did
the
that.
sequence, how they pulled that off.
Yeah.
I remember when they did this. Yeah, when they talked about how they were gonna pull off New Down and they kind of that's really cool. Um, so yeah, that's out there for you guys who don't know. Madden just jumped into Game Pass 2, by the way, 25. So if you guys are looking to play some football, that is in there now. I haven't downloaded. I'm not going to download. I got too much to play this year. Although I should probably download it so Mav and I can do our yearly Madden battle. Although we kind of did that this year, didn't we,
Yeah, I
with the
think
10-hour
we
trial? We
did it
did.
when
We did
I
with the 10-hour
yeah.
trial. Yeah, we did.
I'm
Okay.
even though I own it, I
Yeah.
still get excited when it gets added to Game Pass because then I
'Cause there's new
can
people.
play it on the cloud.
Oh yes, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
now I
Mav
can
is
access it with the Game Pass Ultimate Cloud thing.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, Then, Mav, I went back, 2 older games. First one, and we're gonna talk about this a little bit later. I know you guys talked about it. I heard you guys talk about it a little bit on, Monday on FSP, but, Battlefield.
Mhm.
I went back to 2042. I had to download it. I think both you and I have said, over the past few months that we have looked at re-downloading it again. I saw the Battlefield trailer, the new Battlefield trailer, and Zeb Pello we trust. We're gonna talk about it later, but and I got the itch. I couldn't help myself. I deleted a bunch of shit off the console and I downloaded it again, 2042. That's how I've been hopping in, playing a couple rounds each night this week. And it's like riding a bike, Mav. Like it gets like the first couple outings are real rough while you're figuring shit out again and you're kind of remembering. And then when you've played as much Battlefield as you and I have, things just start clicking again. Today, when I was sitting waiting for the dryer guys to show up when I got home, popped it on, got into a tank. You know me, Mav. Tank commander. Tank commander pawn. I love my tanks. Bro, I was getting wrecked earlier this week in tanks. I got in a tank today, got a gunner with me, rando, no comms, of course, because I don't play with comms unless I'm playing with buddies. We started rolling around at the beginning of the match, Mav. Man, I wound up with like 2 tank kills. I don't know how many dudes him and I wiped out between the 2 of us. We took like 3 points before we finally died. Like it was not, it was like back in the old day. I was like, oh my God, this is so good. This is so good. It just feels so good to be back in Battlefield again. The weapons feel great. The sound effects, there's not, I mean, Call of Duty is fantastic with their sound as well. But Battlefield, that open battlefield, when you got helicopters flying overhead, jets, tanks rolling around, you got all sorts of shit happening. You got bullets whizzing past from all different. There's just nothing like it. It
Yeah.
is just a special, special game and always will be. So yeah, I had to fire that back up again because that trailer, that that spliced and diced the usual Battlefield hype 2-second trailer got me as it always does, Mav. I don't care. It got me. It just they're the best marketing ever. Um, they've always been the best marketing ever when it comes to Battlefield. I think that's some of the greatest advertising in video game history has come from Battlefield, the franchise. And they got me just with that quick teaser that they did. I did sign up, by the way, for Battlefield Labs. Took me 2 days. I fell asleep the first night and missed my opportunity. I had to start over and sit in queue again all day at work. And actually didn't actually get into the queue until I got home. So it was like a 9, almost 10-hour day sitting in queue, got in, got signed up. So we'll see if I get chosen to test out the new Battlefield because it sounds like it's coming sooner or later. We're going to talk about it. So I did do that. And then, Mav, I've been talking to you about this because you fired this one up when you got your PC. And I hadn't done it yet. I hadn't pulled the trigger on the game on PC yet. But Red Dead 2. It
Yeah.
was on sale again. I'm sure you guys maybe have heard it. Heard it. That made some news this week, actually. They also confirmed that it sold over 70 million copies now as well for Red Dead. too. So ridiculous.
That's insane.
I know it's just stupid. But it made news this week because it was on sale on Steam last week for $15. I think I might have mentioned on one of our shows that I was probably going to pick it up. I did wind up picking it up because it was $15. Screw it, whatever. But it set new records. It set new concurrent records again. Because of how many people picked it up again and people saw it on sale and then people just fired it back up again because people were playing it, people were streaming it. Gets everybody excited. I finally fired it up on the PC, Mav. 60 frames. We've been talking about this. They should have had a 60 frames patch for console a long ass time ago. They haven't done it. Whatever, Rockstar. Again, you guys make hand over fist money. I just, again, I think it is a little weird that you don't take care of your franchises and the customers who have made you guys as much money as they have. But whatever. Maybe I'm just being entitled. I don't care. I just think they should have done it for that game. But man, firing up on the PC, Mav, and putting it up on the big screen, almost can do native 4K, as I was telling you in the background. It'll dip into the 30s and 40 with everything cranked. I got everything cranked. Okay, ultra or high, like everything maxed. It'll dip in the 30s and 40s for me. At native, I did turn on FSR and put it on performance. Holy shit, crisp as hell. No weird FSR stupid shit going on that people talk about, especially even the snow section. I was thinking I was going to see it because I actually have noticed the FSR sparkle, especially the older FSR, because this isn't FSR 3, this is FSR 2. So I have noticed that sparkle shit, whatever they call it. And I thought for sure in the snow I might see that. I didn't at all. The game, 7 years old now. Everybody talks about it. It's nothing new. It's still one of the best looking games ever created. On the PC, though, with the level of detail turned up that is outside of the console, holy shit. The shadows, the lighting, just the faces. But when they're riding horseback through the snow, Mav, in the nighttime, and the shit's filtering through the trees, and the glows coming off the lamps onto the horses, and how the horse's hair looks as their tail swishes behind. Bro, I was like, Jesus, this rock stars. This is them. They are masters at this. It is ridiculous the level of detail in that game, and of course, obviously, it helps. The beginning still to me is slow. I've always said that about Red Dead 2. Again, Red Dead 1 to me is the better game overall, but that's because I like Arthur more so. But I still the way that they portray the game, the way they set it up, even if I find it a little bit slow in the beginning and trudging through the snow and that kind of shit, but the way they set up the characters, the way they set up the whole situation, the gang, everything that's happening to you at that moment in time, and the atmosphere that they capture of a Western movie from all my days. Again, I grew up in a family. My mom was a huge Clint Eastwood fan, a huge spaghetti Western fan. I watched a ton. My dad was a John Wayne fan. So I got it all. Okay. It's just second to none. And it's why it's my favorite franchise to this day, even over obviously Grand Theft Auto. It is so cool. It is so cool to see that game just keep living on and keep doing more. And it's just so nice to know that we eventually will, at some point before I die, get another Red Dead. So I know that's going to happen. We don't know how long it's going to take, but eventually we will get another one. But my God, just what a beautiful game. And firing it up on the PC, like I said, on the OLED, on the big screen, just holy shit, bro. Just another level, man. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing, man. A little bit of new, a little bit of old. Still got a lot of stuff, got Ninja Gaiden 2 still sitting there that I got to keep going on. I got Citizen Sleeper 2 that I want to keep firing up here, and I got to get into that. But we've got stuff right around the corner. Now, Avowed's coming around the corner. I've decided I'm not going to buy the upgrade pack because it doesn't have DLC. So I'm not going to spend $30 for the soundtrack. And the art book and 5 days early access. I'm just and the few costumes. I'm just not going to do it. So I've decided I'm going to hold off. But Avowed is number one on my list right now. That's why I'm not playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 right now. That's why I didn't buy it. Is because of the games I'm playing right now. Plus I got Avowed, and then Monster Hunter Wilds. At the end of the month is going to be my next big game. I don't know how much of the Capcom thing that you caught, Mav, but talk about detail. Capcom.
Yeah, they're on another level right now with
they are doing things, man, that I didn't. I mean, this is peak Capcom again. We've talked about this a billion times, but man, I caught bits and pieces of it, and especially the gameplay parts. I was watching that more so, but the level of detail I saw people posting online too, cutting out parts where they were showing up close to the monster and just the movement of the monsters in the game slowed down to show you each and everything that's happening on like the skin, the scales, the
Yeah.
eyes, how it's blinking. I was like, yo, Capcom. Okay, I gotta play this game. Like, I have to learn. I mean, I've played obviously tons of Monster Hunter, guys. I've told you this. I just never really learned how to play Monster Hunter. I never
Yeah, yeah,
became
yeah.
that hunter. So I played a ton of it, but just never did that. Never got it. I played World for a while, but just never got into it like that. I gotta do it this time. I gotta give myself a go at this and try to learn some skills. I'm not gonna be Steel. Steel's planning his whole life around Monster Hunter Wilds right now.
Yeah.
He's already said it's his game of the year. Shout out to Steel. He's probably listening in the background. He's already said it's his game of the year. Don't let anybody talk to him about any other game. He's already got everything set up. This is gonna be his life, is Monster Hunter Wilds. So he's gonna be on another level. I'm not gonna be that because you guys know I can't do that. But I'm super excited for Monster Hunter Wilds and Avowed this month. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, man. That's what I've
Yeah,
been doing,
I
brother.
mean, it's shit tons of stuff to look forward to.
So
Kingdom
excited.
Come Deliverance 2 for me also I gotta have on the back burner. Like another one that I want to get was the fact that Marvel vs. Capcom collection dropped on Xbox as well. But it's like there's just so much that I'm already playing, and I know other games I'm getting, so it's like wait on these and get them when they're on sale later, probably at some point, because I know the time that I have and everything is like I'm not gonna be able to make much of a dent in some of these. And Avowed for me coming up is the more anticipated game, especially after hearing all these interviews and previews and everything that we have. Carrie Patel has been going around doing a lot of interviews. Shout out to Luke Lore and Xbox Expansion Pass. I saw his. I saw another rapid fire interview where
The
she
rapid fire
answered.
one was the really good one.
Yeah,
That was
they did like
tons of info.
120
Yeah,
questions or something. That was
that's where the 60 frames got answered, which was
yeah,
dope. So,
full of
yeah.
info there, and
Mhm.
that game. I saw the photo that they posted to, or the video clip of the
Yeah.
billboard that they have in Times Square.
Mm.
The like the 3D billboards that they have now. It looks so cool, man. Like my hype level for Avowed the last week or so has been increasing and increasing and increasing, and it's already been really high. So can't wait to dive into that. So knowing that I'm gonna have it right away when it drops, that's been kind of I'm just playing my other games until that drops.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones I still got to finish too, which I've been diving
Nice. You
into
gotta do
off
it,
and
man.
on, and I'm in like past the halfway point, but I'm in this area. I'm just kind of taking my time exploring and kind of walking around, and dude, like that game is so good too, man. Like it's just this we're in such a good place with games to play.
Mhm.
And one thing I like in indie, like the environments of the different kind of areas you can go, but also the gameplay. Like I remember a lot of people nitpicked in some of the reviews that the gameplay, but man, if you play it like with a stealth mindset, like I do,
Like stealth,
it,
bro, anymore. I
I
know.
know, but it's such a good
For
stealth
you and
game.
me, it's freaking
Oh, it
amazing,
like just
bro.
just in general, like as a stealth game, if you play it
Yeah.
like a stealth game, it's probably one of the best stealth games that's dropped in like a long time.
Yeah, I will say it's inconsistent, but that's okay. A lot of
Yeah,
stealth games are. I don't have a problem with it. And actually, when you do get caught, the hand to hand is so much fun, especially
yeah,
once you do learn like like I've fought in that pit for a long ass time, bro,
uh-huh.
just to kind of learn the hand to hand, right? And to get down the timing. And once you do that, the counters and how it's just straight out of the movie, it just never gets old for me fighting them fisticuffs, man. I just love it.
Yeah,
I
I
feel like
it's
I'm indie.
fun. Yeah. It's a fun
Um,
gameplay loop, or with the combat. Like it got knocked on from some because they want more
yeah.
of a fast-paced action
There's
game.
people.
Yeah, but like that for me, it's like, oh man, it feels so good. It like they did such a good job bringing that. It kind of feels more realistic. Like it's more natural style of gameplay to it,
Mm.
which is awesome.
Did you see
It
Harrison's compliment again this week too?
I didn't see what did he say?
Oh, Harrison came out again because they were asking him about AI in an interview or whatever else, and he pointed out Troy Baker doing Indiana Jones and said, "You don't need AI. Look at this. You can go get somebody to do my voice," and complimented him again and said, "You don't need AI.
Yeah,
AI does not need to rip off my voice. Go find an actor who can do it and pay him."
right.
Right, and and that was, I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what he said. But he was like, he did a fantastic job being me.
Yeah.
Like again, like I said, the more I play that game, and you guys know I'm not the biggest Troy Baker fan. I'm just not. But all credit to him. He should win all the awards, hands down. So I
That
can't wait
game
to hear
is
more from him.
so
Yeah, so
optimized,
good.
bro. Like so
That too.
smooth.
Yeah, it is.
Graphics are gorgeous.
Mhm.
It's probably like I would say for everything that they're doing
Yeah.
in Indiana Jones, like
Mhm.
just in general, because it's got a grand scope, right? With all the massive environments that you can explore and look for things and all that. The level of ambition that took, combining with the puzzles, you got the combat, you got the action sequences, then you have the acting and all that stuff. I think overall, as for that kind of game, um, it's probably the best so far of this generation. Like, I know you have more narrow focused games that are more
Mhm.
just streamlined through story things that may have better graphics, right? Or you may have um slightly better, maybe not even better, honestly. Indiana Jones may look
Right.
better than all of those. Or you have like a game like Starfield that's just so much more ambitious, right?
Right.
With
Right.
doing a million different things, but like Indiana Jones it's like kind of encapsulates all of that and still looks like it does and runs really well and all that. It's just crazy achievement. The more I play of it, it's just kind of wow.
Yeah.
Knocked out of the
No.
park.
Yeah. It would have been up for game of the year had that come out a little
Oh
bit
yeah.
earlier. We said that a billion times. And again, all the reviews and everybody that's talked about it has confirmed it. It's for the most part. Besides the people that didn't like the stealth side of things, overall, that game deserves a praise. And again, I can't wait to see more. I think Machine Games is going to do more, and I think they are going to bring more Indiana Jones IP, which I'm all for. Obviously, I think it's freaking fantastic. So, um, but yeah, man, lots of good stuff going on. Let's get into the chat, and then we'll get some of we'll talk some of this smaller stuff this week. Don't know how long the show's going to be, folks, but we're gonna have a good time because we got games to talk about. We got new games coming out. Like I said before, games announced. We got teases of games that Mav and I are both excited for. I definitely gotta put some more time in Tokyo Extreme Racer. God, you talking about it again. I gotta put some more
Yeah.
time in that. Man, so freaking cool. It's back. It's so good. Um, I'll
Rising up
because
the
of what happened
ranks, man. Rising up the ranks.
right, exactly. Because of what happened with the Luca trade, I'm going to take this one from you so you don't have to suffer more. Razor Ultron, I believe he has suffered enough, sir. So I'm going to read the super chat because this has no meaning for me whatsoever. Razor Ultron AEC with the $2 super chat again. I'm not going to try to do the voice tonight, folks, so you'll forgive me, right? Choo choo motherfuckers, right? I'm not going to threaten my throat. But he came in with a $2 super chat. Says this weekend it's on. Fly Eagles fly. Go Birds. I know it hurts your ears, Mav. I know it hurts your ears, but he did give us $2.
Is it
So
possible for both teams to lose the Super Bowl?
I think that would be the best. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe it could be
I
a
mean,
first time in history that it ends in a tie. Like they just
or
go like,
maybe a maybe the referee scandal breaks right before the game and they have to cancel the freaking game because it's overwhelming
yeah,
evidence. And they just they they wipe the season clean, and they just say we're not even going to have a Super Bowl this year. This season does not count. We'll start over next year with a fresh crew of
yeah,
referees and just be done.
yeah, that'd be cool. Like, hey, we found out that the tush push is actually an illegal play and has elevated the Eagles into the Super Bowl, which shouldn't have been allowed. And also, we also found that
Yeah,
the refs were allowing Mahomes penalties when they
yeah,
shouldn't have been granted as well. So this whole Super Bowl is a farce. Sorry,
yep,
fans, but we'll still have the Kendrick Lamar concert for you. And then we'll end the Super Bowl in a 0-0 tie.
perfect, perfect.
And here's a camera shot of Taylor Swift.
No, we don't need that anymore either. Thanks. That's done now. That's done. Ah, man. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Nam, Omar's in the house. What's going on, Nam? Thank you so much for dropping in here. I appreciate you. You said maybe Kendrick will win the Super Bowl instead. Okay. I mean, I guess they could give it to him. Just give him the trophy. God Emperor, Sofa King's in the house. What's going on, God Emperor? He says no halftime show would be a W. I agree, God Emperor. That's been toast for a long ass time. So I think ever since Prince killed it. Prince was the last killer, and that was it. It was over with after that point. Nobody could compete. Maybe you guys will disagree, but that's me. Who else? We got Cyber Gunter in the house. What's going on, Cyber Gunter? Thanks for being here, brother. We got Why So Serious in here. What's going on? Why So Serious? We got the BT Maverick 707. We got the Shino Mori in the house. Great to see you. He says if there is a strike, it would prevent it. True. We could have a strike. We just have a walkout.
Yeah.
Something bad happens and just walk out and just refuse to play. Let's do that. Poison Maniacs in the house. What's going on, Poison? Appreciate you, brothers, so much. Is in the house. He said, I bet the Mavs could really use a player like Luca. Jesus.
Oh,
Jesus.
that's ruthless,
Too soon,
man.
Too soon. He ranks too soon.
Everybody could use a player like Luca.
Nah, he's overweight, bro. He's out of shape, bro.
I don't know, man. If I could, like,
he's out of shape, bro. Out of shape. Five-time All NBA. Don't matter, bro. Out of shape.
Went to the finals last year, 40 minutes a game. The last several
out
playoffs.
Of shape, bro.
Yeah,
doesn't play D, bro. Christ. I seriously, I still can't believe the conference. Jason Kidd's face. He didn't even know. Like, I'm like, bro, I might have walked out if I was Kidd. I might have been like, F you guys, I'm not doing this. Like, I can't trust
today
you
he
guys.
was speaking more of the company line. He's like,
of course,
last year the Celtics, we met them in the finals and they were the better team, so we're doing what we have to do to get better.
Jesus.
It's like, what?
Yeah, trading a prime. Even he's not even in his prime yet. Prime now is like 30. He's not even in his prime yet. But trading what looks to be a first ballot Hall of Fame player, generational type player, that's totally the move you make, though.
He could play 3 more years to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
He could, yeah. If he continued to average what he did, yeah, for sure. Nerds and other legends. Great to see you. Walks in here and says hello, everyone. Hello to you. God Emperor again. God Emperor said I want Wolfenstein 3. I'm sure Wolfenstein's in the works. I'm sure that's going to be the next game out the door. I think you're going to get your Wolfenstein. They're going to finish that trilogy. I think after that point, though, I think they're going to start working on Indy right away, and they're going to follow this up. Again, there's so many adventures you can have with Indy. They'll get the DLC out, all that kind of stuff. But there's so many adventures you can take. You can take Indy anywhere. Like there's so much cool shit they can do. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait. Web Dave's in the house. Is going on, Web Dave? Always great to see you, brother. Thank you for being here. We got Game Shark in the house. What's going on, Game Shark? Great to see you. He says motion sickness. I fucking hate him. I'm assuming first person. Sorry, Game Shark. If you are one of the people that does get motion sickness, that is shitty, bro. That is shitty. Yeah. I don't deny that people get like motion sickness. None of that. I had a buddy who had the same problem with some games, not others. He even got motion sickness in some third person games every once in a while. So I've seen it firsthand. It sucks. I can't imagine. Just like the people that get the warnings where you can have a seizure because of flashing lights. I can't imagine being one of those people and being loving games and knowing every time I play some shit could go down. Like, bro, like that's gotta be awful. So I feel a Game Shark. Shane G is in the house. What's going on, Shane? Great to see you. Says Indiana Jones, my game of the year. Can't pick a better one, brother. Again, I still think Dragon Dogma 2 for me is still top, but again, Indiana Jones is right there, man. It's such a great game so far from what I played. What's going on? Oh, it's great to see you. He says, LOL, I literally have my gaming year planned out with how many releases we are going. Yeah.
More dates got dropped today, too.
Yeah. Yes.
We got a date for Metal Gear,
Yes, we did yes, we're going to talk about that, too. We got a new trailer and a date for Metal Gear, which was out of the blue, kind of crazy, too. But anyways, we're talking about all that. We're going to get into the GTA stuff because they're really messing up the industry. There's going to be a lot of pissed off people. I think there's already pissed off people about Strauss and his team. If they don't do what they say they're going to do, this industry is going to be pissed off at 2K. Yeah. Not that they care, but seriously, it is kind of bullshit. Like they know what they're doing. So anyways, we'll see. Who else is in here? Spartan 661. And again, for you guys who are joining late here, I am under the weather again. I'm giving it a go. So if you hear me sniffle, apologize. I'm not trying to do it as much as I like normally would, and on my throat, so you might hear me just kind of take a couple breaths or whatever else, and that's why my energy might not be the same as normal. And I'm not doing all my funny voices tonight either. So you guys probably enjoy that better without me doing that shit. But anyways, so that's why I'm a little bit different tonight. Who else we got in here? Yeah, Shane agreed to Avowed. Obviously, we were so hyped for Avowed, man. It's gonna be so good. Love Obsidian. Sea Lord of Bravos. What is going on, Sea Lord of Bravos? Thanks for joining us. He said, I've already bought the Avowed early access. Congratulations. I can't wait to see again some of the screenshots I've seen already. But people, once they jump into early access and I start seeing videos, I know I'm gonna have a little bit of FOMO, but I'm good. If this if this premium edition, if they had already announced DLC, we'll talk about it a little bit. But Carrie Patel said maybe when she was asked about DLC. If they had already announced DLC and I was getting the DLC, I will buy the premium upgrades. I buy the premium upgrades all the time for either the battle passes or the DLC, like Indiana Jones. But this one, not having it, that's the only reason I'm not jumping into it right now. I got plenty to play, but man, I can't wait to see people putting out what they think about Avowed. So again, so hyped for this game. Weapon X, what's going on, Weapon X? Great to see you. Said I bought it on sale with Steam. Wish Red Dead was on Xbox, PC, Play Anywhere. Yeah, that'd be freaking fantastic, man. Hopefully down the road in the future, more and more of that shit happens, like Mav and I've talked about a billion times. Jesse James, what's going on? Jesse James says I like Western games so much I don't mind it being slow. Correct, Jesse. Again, that's what I was saying. Like as much as I say it's slow start, the setup is so good and the atmosphere is so good that again, it's a minor thing to me compared to Red Dead 1 that the setup is, that the start is a little bit slow, but don't have a problem with it. It is what it is. So, but I agree with you wholeheartedly about the Western games, man. We just don't get enough of them, especially to that quality's stupid.
Yeah.
Psychonauts, brother, Psychonauts, what is going on, sir? Great to have you in here on the front lines at GameStop, joining us tonight. Thank you, brother Psychonauts, for being here. Let me keep going back up. Who got Nathan Hardman? What's going on? He says, indeed, playing Far Cry. Thanks, Game Pass. Exactly. Gotta love it. Pete, what's going on, Pete? He says, lack of anti-aliasing bugs me a lot in Sniper Elite, but I'm enjoying. See, that's the shit that I just never noticed that other people notice, but it does suck. If you're one of those people that notices those flaws, I can only imagine. To me, I still never see that shit. It's weird. But anyways, Pete, glad you're enjoying Sniper Elite anyways. Again, it never gets old. The X-ray stuff just never gets old to me. It's Timmy's in here. What's going on? It's Timmy. What up? Or he said, what up, Froggy T? Right. It's Timmy. Great to see you in here, brother. We got the one and only Depka in the house. Depka says the new Sniper Elite is weirdly easy this time. The enemy AI seems to be dumber compared to 5 and 4. I'm kind of disappointed. I can see that. I can see where you say the AI is a little bit off, for sure, compared to the other ones, a little bit dumber. I think some of the patterns that they had in the other ones and recognizing when when some of their fellows were down, that is a little bit missing here, Depka. I can see where you're coming from with that one, brother. Ghost Fixter, what's going on? Ghost Fixter says, when I get back home, going to start up Dynasty Warriors Origins finally. Oh my God, bro. Like, again,
you're a Dynasty Warriors guy.
I'm a
too,
Musu
right?
fan.
Yeah.
I'm a Musu fan through and through. Been a Musu fan my entire life. Again, I will be getting it at some point. Like, I want to see what they've done with this because it is different. And some people are really enjoying the difference. It got high marks, which isn't normal all the time for Dynasty Warriors. Again, Musu is just one of those same kind of recipe over and over and over again. It's about the characters. It's about the gameplay. That's what I always loved. They changed it up this time, so I can't wait to try it. So you're gonna have to post some screens, post some pics there, Ghost Fixture, when you're playing some Dynasty Warriors Origins. I can't wait. Let's see here. Who else we got here? Froggy T, right? I see you. What's going on, Froggy? We got that one and only, of course, Brett Bingham in the house. What's going on, Brett? Always good to see you. It says, fun speculation. You ever wonder if Microsoft is trying to pull the football from from PlayStation players? Yes, we are obligated to put the games on current gen systems, but you have to convert to play Gen 10 games. Trying to pull the football from
I think it's
PS
saying like
players.
get people into the franchises this gen,
Oh,
but they got to get an Xbox next gen.
yeah, no.
I don't think
I mean,
so.
no.
I I think that they are content with selling the games everywhere as well as on their own devices next gen,
Yeah.
and they're kind of content that they aren't going to sell 100 million consoles or whatever, right? They're just going to
Right.
keep expanding the user base. But I think I like some of what they said regarding the next gen hardware about having
Yeah.
the hardware speak for itself as far as a reason to purchase it. Now they got to deliver on that.
Of
But
course.
like I've said a couple times, in a dream world, right?
Mhm.
There are no exclusives. Games are just everywhere, and we can pick and choose the best ecosystem, platform, storefront devices that we want to play them on, right? And eventually, that's what we'll see. Maybe not from Nintendo, but in the long run with the other hardware, as things continue to get more PC like, and I think Xbox is just kind of ahead of the game on it a little bit. And for some people, it's definitely too soon. But once they start selling 15 million copies of Forza Horizon or however much they sell over the next couple of years and stuff like that, like they're not gonna say, well, we don't want those players anymore, or you're gonna have to go buy a $500-600 box in order to access it.
Yeah.
Microsoft is in the business of lowering barriers now, um, overall, and that's just kind of where they're going.
Yeah.
Hardware isn't the key focal point for them
No,
anymore. It's just
but I
it's
still
a part of it, but
but I still think I still think there's a path forward in the hardware if they make it compelling. And I still think there is a way where
yeah,
they
it can
actually
sell
do
if
I
people
actually
get
think that
excited
there is a
for it.
way where they do better than they have the past couple generations next gen. I still think there is a way. Not that they will catch, Switch, PlayStation, right? But that they will do better than they have the previous two standard boxes if they do the hardware between handheld and whatever the set top
Yeah,
box is going to be. I think they can make it compelling enough to make an argument where more people go buy one or both of those things, and Xbox actually has a base that's bigger than what they have right now on that type of hardware. And I still think there is. And I'm not claiming they're going to move up out of the third spot when it comes to hardware. I'm just saying I think there is a way forward where they can actually make some ground up
yeah.
in the hardware space still.
A
Still,
key
even
part
without
of
the
it
focus.
a key part of
Mhm.
it is because Steam is gonna be doing the same thing, right? We even got more news about that this week about the Steam
Yes,
consoles and stuff, right?
potentially. Yeah.
So if we get, according to rumors, if we actually get Steam based devices to plug into TVs, right? Then that's also going to compete with PlayStation. It's going to compete with other devices. Now PlayStation puts their games on Steam, right?
Mhm.
So it could be a thing to where those ecosystems are so popular, people see the value and the variety of being able to access all the storefronts. And I think Xbox's key there is Jez had an article today, which is very good because the key aspect of it is okay. So why would somebody buy an Xbox over a Steam box if they both exist, right? Well, you got to have the ecosystem, like it's got to bring your whole library forward, right, to that device. Plus, also the Xbox Anywhere thing for having
Yes, correct, yeah.
having the value differentiator there that that provides to you is a
Mm,
key part of it. So, that I'm hoping what's going on behind the scenes at Xbox is that's a super high priority to get developers and publishers on board with that, right? Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is one of the ones that just got dropped with the stream your own game feature, right? But that's not alone going to do it, I think. I think Xbox Anywhere is more so because you get the dual entitlement, PC, console, all that. Now, in the future, maybe that's irrelevant if the console is the PC. So then at that point, it's okay, well, it's just console and PC are the same license in a way in the future. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work. Brad Sams had a
oh,
video too talking about potentially 4 devices for Xbox next gen. Talking about like a Series X2, like a Series
mhm,
S2, but both of those be kind of the PC hybrid devices.
mhm.
Cloud box if they still release that, and also the handheld. So There's
Well,
so it's gonna be interesting to see, man. I can't wait. It's gonna be compelling for sure,
I
and
yeah,
to follow. You know,
I just hope I hope it is next year, and I hope that we do get a tease this year because that's going to be a cherry
I
on
think we
top at the
get
end of this
I
year.
think we get more of a tease this year at least, even if
Yeah.
it's not till 2027, because I think
Yeah.
they still want to try and reaffirm the
Mhm.
hardware thing with fans as much as everybody's been freaking out about the franchises. Because I at some point they're probably going to announce Halo Master Chief Collection. At some point they're going to announce maybe something Gears or whatever, or some of these other games that are dropping this year that are currently not going to PlayStation. They'll probably announce dates later for those, right? And people are going to freak out again. People are going to talk about why buy an Xbox, all this kind of stuff. I think just like getting ahead of it. And if you say, this is what we're doing for next gen, whether you have are ready to show it yet, is would be kind of um, helping people understand what they're trying to do, right? So we'll see.
Yeah. We will. But it's gonna be cool no matter what when it comes out because I do think that they're gonna come big, and I think they're
Yeah.
gonna try to again. It's not gonna be.
I mean,
I don't
if
think it's gonna be.
PlayStation's day and date keeps shrinking, right? Like, and you
It,
can get an
it,
Xbox that plays all your Xbox games, and you can get Steam
get other
access
things.
to Steam, and you can get your PlayStation games on there too.
Yep.
Like, that's a win for me. Like, over
Right.
what we're currently getting, as long as all my library continues to move forward and gets updated and all that stuff as well.
And I don't think it's gonna be a half-hearted rollout. I think they're gonna.
Yeah,
I think they're going to give it one more big go because I think they believe they got something compelling that will move the needle. And I think they're going to roll it out the way that they would normally roll out a big new piece of hardware or multiple pieces of hardware. So I am
yeah.
excited for it, man. I am really excited. Um, Marty McFly, what is going on? He says my favorite duo. Ah, man, props to you, brother. Thank you so much for the kind words. So much, man. Again, never expected, but always appreciated, man. Sin is in the house. What is going on, Sin? Great to see you. The one and only Decado is in here. What's going on, Decado? Decado says, man, I started Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Holy hell, is it brutal? Yeah, that's what I've heard, man. They did not back off from it being a sim RPG. Like it is tough, but the graphics, man, they're using the Cry engine again. So supposed to be actually spectacular. So I can't wait, man. Can't wait. Who else we got in here?
I gotta answer the phone real quick, Pong, while you're.
Yeah, go right ahead. Go right ahead. I'm just up here. Brett Bingham says Pong sold 2K and Firaxis screwed the pooch. Civ 7 UI is peaches. Yeah, I've heard the Civ. This is why I held off on Civ 7. Civ 6 came out in a state too that people weren't happy with. Now with Civ 7, the things that I've been reading is a little bit of combination of things. A lot of people aren't liking the changes. A lot of people aren't liking what is deemed to be simplifying the game down. We've seen this. Civ is a classic 4X strategy. 4X strategy, people use whatever descriptor you want to. Niche. We're going to talk about some, RTSs here too, shortly, which Mav and I love. You can call it niche. You can call it whatever you want to. It's massive on PC. They've done very well on console. That's why they continue to port over to console. But Civ is the granddaddy. And I understand changing. I understand evolution of a game. But when you've got a core fan base in Civ that is so diehard, and you really change the formula up to try to attract new customers or introduce new things that are outside the box, way outside the box for a Civ game. And this, again, I haven't played it yet, so I'm just going by what I've read. You are going to create the situation where your core fan base really says the game is shit. This is something that devs have to balance all the time, and they have to judge for themselves how they're going to do this. I just would not mess with a game like Civ personally because it is what it is, and it has such a strong following. All you got to do, you can make tweaks, you can update it, you can upgrade it, but simplifying it versus actually probably making it a little bit more hardcore, a little bit more complex, I think is the wrong way. I think I would have gone the other way. But neither here nor there. I also heard the performance is a problem. So a lot of people are questioning it. Doesn't have the greatest reviews on Steam right now. It is what it is. So We'll see. Again, it still probably will sell pretty decently because there is a big fan base that still goes out and buys it every time it comes out. So, but we will see at this point. Um, I think I got everybody. Hold on, let me scroll down here. Yo, Masshole 1977. I see you jumping in here. Says, yo, Pong, you nerd. That's right, nerds. Again, I can't do all my voices tonight, but thank you, Masshole. I appreciate you coming in here, man. You know I take that as a compliment. Hey, we got Rogue joining us. Rogue, great to see you. Just jumps in here with a simple hi. Appreciate that, Rogue. We got Verg, Based, Brizzle in here. PM in the motherfucking PM. Thank you. Thank you, Verg. Appreciate you so much. We got Dion Hayes. What is going on, Dion? He says, I love having Xbox and PC so I can get the best of both worlds with so many games. Yeah, man. It's been eye-opening. And again, as Mav and I have talked about, the Play Anywhere initiative that they're pushing right now. Again, buying one copy and being able to play it between the two setups just on a whim, like that's the greatest thing in the freaking world, man. It really is. And have my saves like right there, like it is the greatest thing. It really is. It is. It is. We are living in the lap of luxury when it comes to that. Polly Baba was in the house. Says, I can't wait for Avowed. You and me both, brother. You and me both. Love that Obsidian team. And it sounds like they brought a lot of the whole Obsidian formula into Avowed with lots of big decisions, lots of things. Again, it's been confirmed by Carrie that you can basically backstab your whole entire tribe. So you can go against everything, which what I love, because you could do that in Outer Worlds. Right out the gate. I did that right out the gate. So this is going to be an interesting playthrough. Now, it's still getting some flack. There's still a lot of nonsense out there about it. Again, people are going to speak with their wallets. People are going to speak with their minds nowadays too. Some people are still upset, but I'm super hyped because I love Obsidian. So I'm going to try it for myself. Now, if the Reddit writing sucks, the character sucks, I will be back here talking about it just like I did with Dragon Age Veilguard. I don't have a problem doing that. But right now, from what I'm seeing, the gameplay wise and how much they worked on everything, bro, my hype level, just like it was last year when I said it was my most hyped game of Xbox first party for that second half of the year. This is now once again my most hyped game right now. Yes, Monster Hunter Wilds is obviously up there, but I want to play Avowed. I love my freaking Western RPGs, man. So I can't wait to see what they do with this game. And like I said, all the early reviews and the gameplay that I've been seeing now just looks really, really good. And I think as an Obsidian fan, I'm going to fall in love with it. So can't wait. Talos Ray is in here. What's going on, Talos Ray? Great to see you as well. That one guy. Going on, that one guy. He says Monster Hunter Wilds Open Beta 2 tonight. This weekend is going to be wonderful. I am going to download that and check it out, especially now that the character creator, obviously you can carry that over. So I do want to do that as well. I haven't downloaded the test for my rig yet. I did see some kind of stats as far as other people posting that had my same GPU, the 7900 XTX. And so I'm sitting pretty good, I think. I'm looking pretty good. It is a meaty, beefy type game. And it is Steel was talking about. But we'll talk more about that Saturday. But yeah, I think I'm going to check out some Monster Hunter Wilds beta this weekend too, especially the character creator. I want to create a cool ass character, just like I did with Dragon's Dogma 2 before it launched. Buzz, what is going on, brother? I see you in here. We got Cold Start in here. He goes, Pony Port begging is starting to become cringe. Cold Start. You know what? At this point, all of it is, it always has been for me in the first place on both sides. This whole stupid shit. At this point, like I said, I'm actually in a way happy to see a lot, not all, because there's still a lot of fakes and frauds out here that don't game, that I don't believe enjoy gaming the way we do. I believe they just enjoy being a part of the conversation ego wise. And do this because they get off on this shit, talking about games and trashing games, and doing that side of the negativity in social media. But they're not really gamers. I'm actually kind of excited to see people that, sure, they are extreme hypocrites for talking about it. We talked about this, for saying that that Xbox games were all shit and they were all Game Pass fodder. And it was all bullshit and they would never play any of the games. They never wanted any of our games. To see some of them actually excited for Forza, to see some of them excited for the potential of Halo, Gears coming over there, that actually brings a little smile to my face on top of me just going, okay, hypocrites, whatever, bullshit clowns. it still brings a little smile on my face because there are some real gamers out there amongst them, and you can see it. And sure, they decided to pass on games because they weren't going to buy an Xbox. That's fine. Again, that's fair. I didn't buy a PlayStation 5 this generation because no game to me is worth it right now to own a PlayStation 5. But those games are coming to PC. I'll eventually be playing Horizon on PC. Again, yeah, I'm one of the Horizon fans out there that likes Horizon. I'll be eventually playing some of those PlayStation games on my PC just because I didn't buy a PlayStation. But it's good to see some people are real gamers, right? Because there was a whole lot of fraud going out here. Again, there's still a lot of them. There's still a lot of them that are just fake gamers out here. But it was good to see some of them show their true colors in the right way, right? And be excited for games. So that's always dope in my book. Because some of these games, like we talked about, Forza Horizon deserves a even bigger audience than it already has. I'm so happy for Playground that they're going to get a chance to do this. And again, you've heard us talk Gears and Halo. Gears for me, more so because I'm the casual Halo fan, but bring on Gears. Give them the multiplayer. I want these PlayStation dudes who obviously don't play these types of games and haven't played these types of games in a long ass time. Not all of them. You guys know who I'm talking about. But a lot of these dudes, we've seen some of their gameplay on some games. Bring them into Gears, man. Bring them into Gears. It's like riding a bike, like I said before in Battlefield. It's like riding a bike in Gears. I was never like a top ass echelon player in Gears, but did I know how to wall bounce and shoddy? You fucking damn right I did. I'll get back into it if we get a whole new core group of players playing Gears again, man. We'll do it. It'll be a fun ass time. So I'm excited for these franchises to get another life, and more players coming into the ecosystem with these announcements. So
Yeah, it's
happy to
good
see it.
to hopefully just start celebrating the games instead of trying to
Yeah,
artificially pick them apart for whatever reason, just
that's still gonna
for
happen, but it is what it is
yeah.
at this point.
Um yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, I accidentally when I had to step away for a second, I accidentally lowered your volume
Oh,
for a
okay.
bit.
I
So
was just talking.
my bad,
Whatever.
chat.
People,
That was
people are
my
probably
fault.
happy. They fucking get Pong out of here. That's
No,
probably the right
they
thing
can
to do
still
it.
hear you. It's just a little quieter than normal. That's my
Yeah, yeah,
bad.
yeah. Cool. I'm already quieter than normal, anyways. So, but no, chat. Thank you all for being here, man. We got a great crew tonight. Seeing some new faces again. Love to see that. There's so much to get excited about. Like gaming is exploding. Still,
Yeah.
like I said, there is certainly some bad parts of gaming right now. There's certainly some changes happening. There's gonna be more changes happening, but as far as just games go, dude, like we have no shortage or fear that we're not going to have anything to play for the next, I don't know, 3-5 years. We're loaded. We're stocked.
Oh
Like
yeah.
this is nonstop right now. Um, so thank you all for being here and listening to me and Mav tonight on a Thursday night for an episode of PM the PM. Let's get into this, Mav. Let's talk about this real quick. Again, I know you guys talked about it on Monday on FSP, but I got to talk about this a little bit, man. Um, Battlefield, Vince Zampella, 4 studios, Mav, right? 4 studios working on this, which we knew, right? Criterion, Dice. Help me out, Mav. Do you remember the other ones? Criterion, Dice. Who else we
There
got?
was what was the name of the new studio that
Oh
they
God.
changed the name of it?
Yeah, they did. What is? Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Sorry, y'all. I should have been prepared for this one, but
Dice Force or Battle. I'm
um,
gonna just Google this real quick because I don't remember.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
they're like kind of hey, they're all separate, but together they become Battlefield Studios.
Right, right. And I think the big thing too. God, man, why doesn't nobody just have it listed?
It's
Uh,
Criterion, Dice,
yep.
Ripple Effect. That was the other
Ripple
one.
effect.
Yeah,
Thank you,
and
thank you,
then
thank you.
Motive.
Motive. Thank you. Okay. So 4 teams now, which we knew about. They had talked about this. But they did confirm math. They had that other studio that they had formed, right, under what's his face that they closed down that was
Yeah.
working on the campaign. So there was questions of whether or not they were going to do a campaign for this Battlefield or they were going back to the Battlefield 2042 situation where it was multiplayer only. We got confirmation in this little tease update announcing Battlefield Labs, which is going to be their beta testing, that, man, we are getting a campaign. We are getting a
Yep.
campaign, brother. And a lot of people are assuming the gameplay that we saw in there was from the campaign, how it was set up and stuff. That's good news. I love Battlefield campaigns too. I honestly do. Again, I said when they announced it for 2042 that they weren't going to. That did you need it? Nah, multiplayer is a spot, but I always said that I like the campaigns, man, especially the bad companies. Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 both had really great campaigns too.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
The
And we
other
got that
thing was
announcement.
Portal is coming back.
Portal. Yes, we got word that the portal is going to be there. And that was kind of like somebody had said that was going to come back, but then they actually put out a questionnaire asking what you want to see return to Portal or what you would want to see in Portal. For anybody who doesn't know, who hasn't played Battlefield 2042 has this cool thing called Portal. And what they did with Portal was so you got the Battlefield 2042 main game, right? And you got all the maps, right? You got all that shit set up for 2042. What they did with Portal was they went back and redid maps, brought back the weapons, the original weapons from all the older Battlefields. Now, it was a selection, right? And Battlefield 2042, Portal was supposed to be the big thing. But because 2042 didn't take off and they had spent so much time fixing it for so long, Portal never really got its fair shot, right? But when we jumped into it, and you can go back, I think we did some live streams of Battlefield back in when it first came out. We were going back and playing the Bad Company maps. We were going back and playing all the old school Battlefield 3 maps that they had. They had like a couple from each, and it was legitimately like walking into the old maps. Like you found your old spots again. Like it was all updated.
Yeah.
It was cool as shit. But that was like the super exciting part, that you could go back and play some of the original Battlefield maps. Well, there's questions again because of how 2042 turned out overall, whether that Portal was going to come back. Well, they confirmed Portal's coming back. So we're going to get the older maps again as well. That's huge maps. So you get the campaign, you're getting Portal coming back. But just we didn't know how long it was going to take. This team, Vince Zampella, took over the Battlefield franchise. The dude has basically so many of the EA franchises now, it's not even funny anymore. They put it in his hands. In Zampella we trust is a saying that we came up with a long time ago. You can hear it on Boom Show and everywhere else. And in Zampella we do trust. We said from the get-go that if somebody's going to return Battlefield to form, it's going to be Vince Zampella. We've all had our wish list, Mav, of what we wanted from Battlefield. Again, I just said, Vince, come out and just call it Bad Company 3. Bring back the freaking humor. Announce a new Bad Company, and you will instantly already be in the winner's circle when it comes to this. Now, obviously, it doesn't look like that's what's happening here. He's going to re-envision Battlefield again. However, Mav, I got to say this about the little clips, and people could talk about it. Well, it was only 20, it was only like 2 seconds here, 2 seconds. That's what Battlefield clips are in the beginning before they do their big blowout shows. That's fine with me. I get to see what Battlefield looks like and what they're going for, and I get a good glimpse at it because of the action, because it's never a boring part that they're sniping. They're clipping in full bore action scenes. Like this is like gunfire everywhere, explosions everywhere. And Mav, in this one, not only do we get to see that it obviously looks like a modern setting, but the thing that I picked up on, Mav, was Levolution.
Yeah.
Is looking like it's returning. Now, I'm not going to hold my breath, but this is the one big ask that I think most Battlefield players that are stuck by the franchise this entire time have been saying for a long time, including you and I now. Bring back Levolution. The big set pieces of 2042 can have their cool moments. But in reality, that's not what made Battlefield back in the day. There's other things too. But Levolution, starting a match with buildings, hiding spots everywhere, and that match ending and it being rubble everywhere with very little spots to hide, collapsing buildings on sniper nests. That's what made Battlefield, taking a tank and rolling through town and taking down buildings all around you, setting mortars upon those snipers and collapsing the building on their head. That's what made Battlefield Battlefield. And they got away from Levolution. They started going to bigger and bigger set pieces and less destruction. There was still lots of cool aspects. There was still lots of destruction, right? I'm not saying any of that. But the Levolution that they originally envisioned, they completely abandoned. Now,
Yeah.
again, I'm not gonna hold my breath, man, but the short clip, and I gotta go get something to drink here. I'm gonna pass it over to you. But the short clips that they had, we saw multiple, and it didn't look like pre-planned. It didn't look like some major skyscraper tower building or some point of interest that you were specifically blowing up that was being destroyed and falling down in rubble. It looked like random buildings taking enough damage, especially that last scene from a rocket launcher where it looked like the whole side of the apartment complex cracked and was crumbling down. We got the glimpse what looks like Mav Zampella has heard and has gone back and looked at things and said, we need to bring back Levolution the way we originally envisioned it for the players. We might be back, Mav. We
Yeah.
might be back, brother. What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. What while you're going away to
Yeah.
get your
Yeah.
drink, yeah, what Pong's referring to is like back in the day, especially like in the Bad Company games, you would have the matches start and you would see this kind of okay, this is like all these buildings everywhere, and then over time, like okay, the snipers in that building, so a tank shoots at it, the wall completely goes down. Eventually, somebody else plants C4 somewhere, and then another wall goes down. Eventually the whole building could collapse, and so you would have these dynamic matches where they all play out differently, and nobody's ever 100% safe because there's always a way to take out everybody, even if they're camping or sniping or whatever, because of the way that the gameplay was designed around Battlefield. And like they kind of had some of that, but they got mainly away from it in exchange to have crazy set piece moments like a giant skyscraper crashing into the map that changes the map forever, or the tornadoes, right? Going through and allowing you to glide and fly in a tornado in like Battlefield 2042, or just random stuff like that. And it kind of got away from this natural progression of destruction to where at the beginning of the map it looks like you got some bases and buildings and all this other kind of stuff, and then at the end of the match it looked like the end of a war zone, just total annihilation. And that's kind of what I have been missing somewhat from the Battlefield games. um there's other things too, like there's certain abilities you used to have in the past. The sniper recon with the mortar was always one I loved. Things like that. So I think like building your game around this concept, like anything can happen in this match. Any building can fall. Any wall can go down if you have the ability to take it down with using the right kind of weapon. Adds to a feeling when you're playing Battlefield, especially with the being the kind of military esque shooter that it is, that doesn't really feel like anything else like it. You have Call of Duty, obviously that isn't a thing, right? In Call of Duty or other shooters. So you have other games that have tried to kind of copy some of that a little bit, and they've done okay with some destruction. You have the game that what was it, Battle Bit, I think that came out on PC last year that kind of took people by surprise, as like this voxel based Battlefield kind of clone that people had fun with mainly because of those reasons, right? Um, so if they can do this right and bring it back, then it's going to stand apart because it's something that I always felt like, okay, it's cool to have set piece things that are exciting, but once you experience that a couple times, it's kind of like, do it like, can we just have it back the old way where it was just more dynamic and natural? Because that makes every match different. Whereas if you just have the one big set piece thing, every match is the same. You're just kind of waiting for that thing to happen. And that was kind of would cause those maps to get a little bit more stale. Whereas if you have this natural progression of destruction happening over time, like I have memories of thinking I'm good and shooting guys through a window, and then you hear a tank coming, and it's like, oh shit, right? I need to get out of here, and then luckily I get out of it just in time as that wall completely explodes in front of my face. Bad Company days, you're sitting there trying to play defense a lot of times where people were trying to rush, and you'd have your spots and trying to take people out, but nothing was ever safe then, man. And I kind of miss that with Battlefield. I think that from the footage that we saw, the little glimpse, I hope that's just like I hope that's what the purpose of it was, to send a message. Like total destruction, natural, progressive destruction on these matches, depending on what kind of weapons you have and use, right? So I want to see them really double down on the classes. I would like to see more classes. I would like to see more options and variety within the classes as well. I want Mortar Strike with Recon to come back,
Mm,
please. Like we got it with the last one in
good.
Portal mode, right?
Yep. Yep.
We could play with it in Portal, so that's one of the reasons I like Portal. You can kind of customize your own experiences and stuff, right? But like there's a lot of stuff they've done in the past that I feel like, okay, it's time. It's time to bring back some of the things that players love the most and
Yep.
embrace what made Battlefield, not just create some crazy sequence to be able to market, right? And that's what I think they went to, is like, look at this, how this can happen. We're the only game where this can happen and it changes everything from this point forward. But like it gets stale, man. I don't know. Like seeing the skyscraper fall and change the map, it's cool. It's cool a few times, but after that, it's like, okay, like I don't. I would rather have pure destruction everywhere throughout the match. I don't need tornadoes flying around my maps.
Cool, but
It's
they got
cool.
high on their own supply. They got high on their own idea of only in Battlefield to a certain degree, right? They
Yeah,
got high on that. Instead of just the organic shit that happened crazy in a match, they try to manufacture it with these big set
exactly.
pieces.
And it doesn't need to be manufactured.
No, it doesn't. No, 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 no. That the only in Battlefield thing tagline happened because people were pulling off shit crazy in the middle of these wild, extreme things. But it wasn't a part of the game itself wasn't built around that. Like that's the fun part. People were finding out how to do things without the game having or creating those moments on top of everything else. So I think that's the important part. Also, Matt, that there was some quotes that for the labs, if you get signed up for the labs and you get selected to beta test, they are going to be beta testing Conquest and Breakthrough, which are the two classic modes. So they've confirmed those two classic modes are there. There's a rumor this is going to have a battle royale. Okay, whatever. I can't. No, I'm not. I'm never going to fucking play it. But anyways, it's a rumor that it's going to have battle royale. But they are going to they're also going to test new ideas and fine tune and improve Battlefield pillars like our class system. So we've got confirmation from Zempella, assault, engineer, support, and recon out the gate. No more operators. They try to copy Call of Duty. It was obviously so they could sell the cosmetics, so they could do all that kind of shit. I understand the decisions that they were trying to do with Battlefield. But again, like we were just talking about with the Levolution versus the set pieces and all that kind of shit, if you force it, it doesn't work. And you've already screwed up your original fan base. And again, if you guys are out here listening right now and you're an original Battlefield player and you've given up on this franchise, I don't blame you. And I'm not going to try to sell you back into the franchise. Okay. That they did their own damage to their fan base. I am Battlefield for life. I will always get sucked back in the minute a new one is announced because it plays like no other game when they hit it right. And so for me, hearing though that Zempella has gone back to the basics, and if the what appears to be the Levolution is coming back as well, then he has already done all the things that gave us the reason to say in Zempella we trust. He's already done that if he's going to do this out the gate. If this is all going to go back to the original, obviously keeping it modern, obviously trying new things, that's fine. But the core mechanics of Battlefield, what made Battlefield literally at one point, right? Right alongside Call of Duty. At one point, at its peak, it was right alongside Call of Duty. Then Zempel is already going to earn all the flowers possible. And if they can get the performance out the gate right through this testing, if they can
Yeah.
fix the server issues that have plagued Battlefield going all the way back so that that is very limited problems, then Zampella will knock this thing out of the park. And I think that some of the original fans, as burned as they might be, as much as they don't want to hear it, I think they might come back, man. I think there's a real chance that that old feeling of Battlefield draws them back in one more time if he can pull all this off. And I think that's what he's going for. And again, I've got the utmost faith that he's the one that's going to be able to do it. If anybody can, it's going to be Zampella. And I'm really crossing my fingers this time around because again, it does set itself apart. There's competition out there now. We've seen games like Gray Zone. What's the other game? Game Pass Dad keeps talking about, but
Delta Force.
Delta Force. Thank you.
Yeah.
I forgot. I can't wait to play Delta Force. He's talked about how that feels like Battlefield. There's a lot more competition nowadays, right? But the thing that it still has going for it is that feeling of Battlefield and the fact that it has not it started to with 2042. That's why people really got pissed off and was like, I'm done with the operator shit. But it really does still live in that military sim type atmosphere versus what Call of Duty has obviously become, which is the Fortnite of military games, right? It's people. I don't buy the costumes, I buy the skins. I don't mind that shit. We jumped that shark a long time ago, right? So, but people still hate it that Call of Duty has drifted into that whole kind of realm. But Battlefield still hasn't fully gone there, and I think Zampella is going to bring it back even more, so reel it back in again. So it will have its place, Mav, if they can do this. I'm so excited, bro. I'm so excited.
Yeah,
It
me
gets me
too.
every time. Gets me
2026, it seems like or
Yeah, before April 2026.
yeah.
So, that's what they said in their again, things change. That was supposed to happen with 2042. That didn't happen. But they said it was supposed to release this fiscal year. So before April 2026.
Just
What do you think of Math? Call of Duty is what? October, November?
yeah. So I
What do
think
you
it'll
think
be
of it?
March.
Yeah, early next year?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It would make sense.
I could see it. I mean, there's
Um
really no bad time now out the gate in any year. So January, February, March, I could see it any of that time. So yeah,
yeah, I
for sure.
think there the game's changed so much where it's like, yeah, like you said, there's no. I just want them to make sure they launch it in a way that the fan base isn't going to implode,
Right, correct. Yes.
right?
The stupid shit's gotta be
Yeah,
out.
we
Yeah,
know they update and they fix the games and support them and all these
yeah,
things, you
that's
know.
gone.
But it would be nice to have this one launch without this like massive controversy and disappointment despite us having fun, right?
Mhm. Yep.
There's a lot of noise and because of things that were missing and issues and stuff with the game that really derailed the game for many people and kind of put a tarnish on the franchise a little bit. So it'd be nice if they launch it again with under Vince and kind of have a hey, this one is as polished as we can get it, you know, a day and date without a lot of missing stuff and things like that. It's just that's up to EA, right? And so EA's got to allow them the time. Now, what they're doing with Battle Labs, right? Play testing, features, testing things out, getting feedback could be a help. We've also seen sometimes that end up causing things to get extended and push back because like, oh, okay, well, we got to make these changes now. We got to make these changes. We got to make these changes because they're constantly trying to appease the people that are playtesting the game. We've seen that from Ubisoft quite a bit on certain games that they've done massive inside long-term playtesting on. So we'll see, but I just hope when it launches, it's great, fantastic. They give everybody everything they want. If there is a campaign, which seems like there is, right? I hope that it is a campaign worth playing, not a tack on kind of thing. Like my favorite campaigns for Battlefield were the Bad Company campaigns, right? I know a lot of people had fun with the Battlefield like one like stories thing and stuff like that. Thought that stuff was pretty cool, but like it's still not as engaging for me as like a story that follows people all the way through like a journey to the end, and it really has a great great and overall encompassing story just focusing on that. That was the things that the Bad Company games had that really they only really captured it with the Bad Company games. Um but anyway, I hope it's whatever they come up with is great, man.
Yeah.
Love the franchise, so want to see it keep going strong. And Vince we trust. But, you know, EA can put the pressure to launch things early no matter who's in charge. So hopefully it doesn't happen.
They burn through all their goodwill. We talk about goodwill in gaming all the time. Battlefield franchises burn through all the goodwill. I think Zampella realizes that. I wouldn't even mind, Mav, if they came out and the campaign was there, but the multiplayer had a smaller amount of maps, but they had everything else working. If
Yeah.
they start there
Yeah,
and
and
just
add
everything
maps
is
on the
working, the campaign's great, and let's say they got 10, 15 maps and they got a couple important, like even if they start small, like that, I think would be a great way. And I think that the fans, even though some would grumble, of course, so you can't launch a multiplayer game with just few maps in 2025. Bro, it's Battlefield. Look at how often it's come out broken. Look at where it's at. Like if they just started there and got that right out the gate, I think would go a long
Oh
ass
yeah,
way
for
to
sure.
what him and his team are trying to do.
Oh yeah,
So
and like if you do seasonal
yep.
content and stuff, it like one
Yes,
big ass conquest map goes a very long way.
correct.
You know, like the amount of replayability that just one Battlefield map has is pretty extreme. It's not like
It is.
the smaller, fast paced arcade shooter
Especially
maps. You know,
Levolution. If Levolution's back, because the Levolution,
yeah.
like every time you play through it, is different. Like something new happens,
Mhm.
right? It's different. Like it's not the same map because it's changing all the damn time.
Yeah.
So yeah. 1000%. If anybody was curious too, they did comment on Need for Speed this week. EA also commented on Need for Speed and said that the franchise will be continuing, but that all their focus with these four teams is on Battlefield, so it will come after they get the new Battlefield out, and it's right.
So I'm
Um,
surprised.
yeah,
What like that? Okay, what about Codemasters?
I wonder what they're
Like,
doing.
yeah, I
Maybe
mean, like, isn't that what we all thought they brought in Codemasters
mm-hmm,
for? You know, I
mm-hmm.
mean, they've done they did WRC and
Yep,
some other things and fantastic games, but
they're working on something else.
I always kind of envisioned that they were gonna make the next big great Need for Speed game, you know, because Criterion was Burnout before they did Need for Speed,
Correct.
also, you
Correct.
know, and if you were to ask me, I'd rather Codemasters do Need for Speed games and have Criterion return to Burnout.
I wish they would bring back Burnout.
Yeah, me too.
Burnout too. So yeah, but it sounds like you know, they aren't bearing Need for Speed, so we'll be back. It's just that they're all focused on Battlefield, which is great. I mean, again, I don't have a problem with that. Um,
Maybe they're gonna make a new grid. Maybe Codemasters will make a
oh
grid,
god, that'd be dope too.
but like really with EA's backing, really make a big great one this time. Was the last one published by EA? The
Last
last
what?
grid
Grid? Grid?
game? Because I think the last one kind of just dropped and didn't get a lot of hype.
That's a good question.
By the way, if you try and sign up for Battlefield Labs, good luck.
Yeah, the last grid
Was it Grid Legends?
yeah, Grid Legends because I played it.
It was
Yeah, I
in
played it through. It was
2022. Yeah, that was EA, right?
yeah, that was EA because I got it through. I played through the campaign and my 10-hour trial.
Oh, that's
It
right.
was
That's the one where they had like
yes,
the
it was
real
actually cool.
racers like on
Yes, it was
video
actually
and
cool.
stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, bro, it was old school, man. I actually had a good time at the campaign. Like it was cheesy, but again, I like the cheese from FMV days. So for me, I kind of fell in love with it, man. It was kind of fun. It
Yeah,
was kind of fun.
Grid had really good racing, for
Yeah, it
but
did.
I don't
It
know.
did.
For some reason that one was kind of like I think it dropped and
Mhm.
just kind of
They're trying new
disappeared.
things, but it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool too because they had a home. where you could display a couple cars.
Yeah.
You could put trophies there. Like, you had furnishings and stuff. You could go to different rooms of the house and stuff. So they were trying to add
New
to it,
things,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. It's a totally different feeling racer though from everything else. It is interesting, but yeah, no, yeah, Battlefield. God, man, I'm so happy. Um, what else we got, Math? Hey, we got rumor too, Math. We got a new rumor. Because the rumor was that before we got Ninja Gaiden 4 being announced at the Xbox Developer Direct, there was a rumor floating around that the game that was going to be there would be a new Castlevania game, Math, as well. There was a little
Yeah.
bit of smoke. Well, there's a new rumor that there is actually a new AAA Castlevania title, and it's going to be announced in 2025 this year. And per the rumor, and this comes out from Geeking Out. So again, take everything with a grain of salt, but that was some smoke before the developer direct. Konami's plans are that a new AAA game in the Castlevania series is in development and will be officially announced in 2025. So, not a whole lot of information, but
Mhm.
Castlevania is obviously a beloved franchise. Now, I don't want to play the old school style Castlevanias anymore, right? I'm not a platformer dude anymore, right? But anybody who knows, backwards compatible right now from 360, Lords of Shadow games, Castlevania games, which were third person games, 3D World, are freaking dope and underrated, in my opinion. I loved those Castlevania games. If they're going to do a AAA game, Mav, I got to imagine it's not going to be the 2D side scroller. Now, I was thinking about this today, actually, when I saw this. I think there might be more than one game announced because I could see them after the success of Metroid Dread, right? Going back to the 2D and recapturing that audience because there's still a ton of players who love a 2D Castlevania. Like, again, don't get me wrong. I know where the bread and butter is, folks. Again, I'm not sitting here downplaying it. If that is the deal and they're going to come out with some AAA 2D side scroller that actually blows people's minds away, cool. All right, that's great. But man, that would be dope to have that for the old school fans, but also have a brand new AAA kind of open world Castlevania 3D experience, man. Maybe throw some RPG elements into it. I'm down, brother. We
Yeah.
could do Castlevania shit, man. Let's go. Kind of got me excited. Kind of got
Yeah,
me excited.
I saw that too. I wonder if it would be something that would be for 2026 if it was announced this year, probably.
Probably.
And curious, if there was any other publishing deals behind that, like because when they did Silent Hill too, they brought that as a deal with PlayStation. So, but overall, it's a franchise that is a historic one, deserves new games in it.
Yep.
So Konami's kind of making a comeback a little bit, right? You got
Hmm.
Silent Hill 2 did well last year for them. You have Metal Gear in August, right?
Yeah.
Castlevania could come back and hopefully in a big way as well. So
Yep.
there was a time where we thought they were just not going to be hardly making anything anymore.
The East is on fire right now.
Yeah.
There's been some obviously Square. We've punished Square left, right, and up and down over the years, Mav. Because we saw other Eastern companies figuring it out. They were slower to figure out kind of where the industry was going. But a funny thing has happened is that a lot of the Eastern companies, once they figured it out, are actually doing better than a lot of the Western companies that had already figured it out. Like these have been some major comeback stories in some of these publishers and developers over in the East once they got it down, kind of what the new industry looked like, what people were looking for, because they haven't completely gone away from the old stuff. They've stayed true in a lot of ways. Now there's been signs, little hints here and there that they start looking at the Western way of doing things, but for the most part, they've kept their way. And then you inject the new blood into it from Korea, from China, and they're just coming out swinging, man. And again, we see Capcom at its peak. Now, Namco, Bandai Namco, doing very well. Now they've had some ups and downs. but they've done very well. And they've had some really great JRPGs. It's just really good to see a company like Konami, even without Kojima and everything that happened, be able to kind of go into hibernation for a while where, like you said, Matt, we didn't even know if they were going to make games anymore, if they're going to start licensing out their IP or maybe even sell the games division. And now all of a sudden, it looks like they kind of figured out where they're going to move forward in this industry.
Yeah.
Because speaking of which you just mentioned, Mav, we'll get this one out of the way too. Metal Gear Solid Delta, which of course is Snake Eater. To all you big time Metal Gear fans, you guys all know we've been seeing a lot of footage from this game, and I got to say, this is one of those games, Mav. They all reports from all, and again, I played Metal Gear from this beginning back in the day, right? Had my mind blown away back in the day. Just never been the biggest Metal Gear fan, but obviously loved them. But from all the Metal Gear heads, ever since this game was showing, this is one of those actual remakes that is a remake, Mav, that they have taken care of the original IP to such a degree just from the what they've shown in all the trailers that the crowd is giving them flowers already. They didn't change the freaking story. They left a bunch of the shit in there. They didn't change the characters. They've updated everything, fully remade the game, and it looks gorgeous. It looks fun as hell, and people are super excited. I think this thing's gonna blow. As long as I pause, I should finish my sentence, but it's gonna blow up if they nail the landing, if they stick the landing here. I think that the Metal Gear fans are going to show up for sure for this game. And I can't remember. Were you a Snake Eater fan, Matt? Were you one of those?
It was one that I didn't really play much of.
Okay.
Was this originally on the PS2,
Mm.
or was it the one that dropped on the Vita or the PS? I remember there was one that I didn't get into when it came out, or didn't play. Metal Gear Solid 2 was super into. I played Metal Gear Solid 4.
It was on
Um,
PS2. It was on
Metal
PS2.
Gear Solid 5. For some reason, I don't think I played too much of 3, and I don't know why.
Okay.
Maybe it came out at a time when I was playing on my Xbox only, and maybe only had my Xbox at the time. I'm not sure. Um, but it's definitely one that I played some of. They had one that was like a collection, or it was like a port or something. Not it wasn't like a remake like they're doing now, right? So I played some of that on the Xbox last gen, or maybe it's even on the 360. Can't remember. But I was like, oh wow, this is a really good one. But I stopped kind of like a few hours in, and now we're getting this. So I'm glad I did, because this is the one I really want to. I am a Metal Gear fan. For some reason, this is just the one that kind of missed the
Yeah.
boat for me. But
Cool.
when I went back to it before, it kind of felt old. But this is going to
Of
be
course.
bringing it back to me in a big way, right? So I'm looking forward to filling in my gap for Metal Gear.
Whoa, pause. It's, it's yeah, no, again, respect for the IP, like we always talk about, right, Mav? Whether it's a
Yeah.
remaster or a remake, and not every obviously we got so many examples where it never lived up to either one of those billings, but now we're starting to see. Obviously, we just got Ninja Gaiden 2 Black on Xbox, on Game Pass, and on PlayStation as well. And that is an actual remaster, not a remake, but it is a remaster, and it's worthy of calling it a remaster. It's close to being a remake, but they didn't change everything. Like they didn't update all of the stuff, like the camera, right? So you can't call it a full remake because the camera is still an issue. But taking it from the old engine to Unreal Engine 5, doing the work, but keeping the gameplay what it was, it's worthy. They respected the IP for what it was and brought it forward for the old heads, the nostalgia fans like us, and for the new fans as well. And again, I always got to applaud these teams that do that. And it looks like this Metal Gear Snake Eater as a full remake is going to live up to that as well as one of the best remakes we've seen in a long time. I'm eventually going to play it. Obviously, it's not going to be day one for me this year, but I'm eventually going to play it. I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure because I had one of my buddies back in the day when we had the PS2. He was a huge Metal Gear fan. Like again, I played them all. Really had a good time. We used to pass the controller back and forth. Um, he was a big fan. So I'm pretty sure we did play Snake Eater, but it wasn't one of the ones that really stood out to me that I remember, or it was one where I played a few rounds or a few times with him, but then he just finished it off by himself, and I just never really got into it. But damn, this looks good. Damn, this looks good. And that new trailer today looked really cool. So can't wait. Really can't wait. Another game this year. Oh, shit, man. And again, all you Metal Gear fans it looks like you're getting a treasure here. So this is gonna be fun as hell. Um, Trying to
Absolutely.
think. Yeah. Mav, we're gonna do this one and then we'll get into the Avowed stuff here. More PlayStation announcements from Xbox this week, Mav. And it's up our alley, Mav. And it's so good to see. And again, it's not Cap. I really don't care. Like I said, this wouldn't be my decisions the way they're going, but they are. So it is what it is. But Age of Mythology Retold, which you guys now know, I've played over 100 hours, put over 100 hours in that game already, is coming to PlayStation 5 with the new expansion, Immortal Pillars. And for anybody who doesn't know, they did a big, huge blowout of Age of Empires this week. Age 4 is getting 2 new expansions this year. Age of Mythology is getting Immortal Pillars this year, which is going to be the Chinese mythology side. The Chinese gods are being added, which is dope. I've been waiting on this. I can't wait for this one. This is going to be freaking amazing. And then Age 2 Definitive Edition, Mav, also is getting new expansions, which
Yep.
that game has been supported like nobody else. Like that RTS is ridiculous. And they announced that one is also going to PlayStation 5 this year. No announcement for Age 4. I think they're going to see how Age of Mythology Retold 2 do and then bring Age 4 next year to PlayStation 5. I think that's how they're going to try to roll this out, would be my guess. But Matt, just RTSs again, people like to downplay them. We know nobody counts RTSs in the gaming, space except for us and those that love them. They were never included in Xbox games when anybody was talking about the Xbox games
Yeah.
that Xbox was getting. Always dismissed, no matter how good they are, no matter how popular, it doesn't matter. Just dismissed. Phil can talk about them in every interview, and for a while there, he was talking about how many people were playing Age 2. I've been talking about Age of Mythology Retold nonstop since it came out because I've been playing a ton of it. I just absolutely love that game despite its flaws. But the RTS genre, obviously still massive on PC. We talk about it constantly now that we both have really good PCs and we're getting all these new RTSs. Like again, Tempest Rising is on both of our most anticipated games in totality this year. I think probably both of us, it's probably top 5, top 3 most anticipated games, bringing us back to CNC. But obviously on PC, the RTS is blooming. Like it's everywhere. People are producing a ton of RTS games. But console has always been that space where it's been kind of like hit or miss. We've had generations like the 360 generation where they put a ton of them, but then the Xbox One generation, the PS4 generation completely disappeared from the console space. But now this generation, thanks in large part to Xbox, they have brought back the RTS genre. We have seen other franchises from other developers and publishers roll onto consoles to varying degrees of success, but finding new fans of RTSs on console is an untapped market. Again, RTSs aren't that the most expensive games to make. That's why people pump them out. They aren't. And in this new age where everybody's worried about the risk because every big game costs so much damn much money, if you hit with an RTS, you don't need a whole lot of people to start making money on an RTS. You don't. So if you do make it good and make it big, like Age is as a franchise, even in the console space, you're making money. So Matt, they're expanding to a new fan base. PlayStation 5, which doesn't, I don't, they've got a couple of the third
Yeah.
party RTSs, but obviously we don't hear about any PlayStation players playing RTSs, right? The only reason we know is because we're playing on Xbox. We talk about them when nobody else wants to hear us talk about RTS, but we still talk about them because we love them. But the facts are the facts, man. They're going to introduce some new people to one of the biggest, if not the biggest RTS franchise in history in age. And they're going to show up with Age 2 Definitive Edition, which is you and I, Jasper, Psycho. We all played a ton of Age 2 Definitive Edition when it dropped.
Yeah.
I played a ton of Age of Mythology, but they're going to introduce them to two of the brightest and biggest versions of Age. And I think it's exciting as fuck that we're going to see a new group of potential RTS fans develop over on PlayStation based upon Xbox IP, Xbox's RTSs, which are awesome. I just love this. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it opens the door for more too. Like the more players that Microsoft or Xbox can have playing
Yes.
these games, the more
Yes.
money they make on them gives them more reason to make more of them, right? So, I made a joke tweet. It was like, "I'm done." They're taking
I
Age of
saw you. I saw you
Mythology
too.
Retold and Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition to PlayStation. How
Yep.
dare they? Yeah, and it's like, I mean, it's funny how when it's nobody had any outrage about those. You know what I mean? There wasn't
No,
all this
nobody was
stuff.
even mentioning
Nobody even
them.
cared. Just like nobody cared
Just
last
you
year
and
to
me.
talk about it when they were releasing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
it's just funny. Like, oh, you're bringing this game. I'm just getting
Yeah.
so mad. So that's why I was joking with that because nobody even talked about the game last year when they were dropping and they were amazing. Right now,
Correct.
it's not because they're not popular. People aren't playing them
No.
that people are talking about them. It's just not really with the circles of the gaming podcast scene and the Twitter community sphere and all
Yep.
that stuff. But there's a lot of RTS players out there, and I will keep rooting for more on consoles. Right? There's no reason that they can't be on consoles, and I think for the amount of things that Age 2 and Age 4 do well, being able to figure out how you can take the grand RTS ness of those games and bring it so seamlessly to controllers has
Yep.
been a testament to the team and how good RTSs can be on consoles. So again, PlayStation, hey, they're gonna get these games, and I hope a lot of people play them, man. I really do, because I want Halo Wars 3, baby. I
Just gonna
want
say this
I,
might fund Halo Wars 3. Let's go.
I want a Microsoft Factions Xbox based RTS game where you have a Gears COG faction, you have a Locust faction, you have a Flood faction from Halo, you have a Covenant faction, you have a Banished, you have the Spartans, you have, let's say, a Dragonborn esque faction from Elder Scrolls or something, or you have like,
Years.
yeah, I mean, you could do so many cool things, man. If they really like decided, hey, let's just open this up and do some crazy shit and have fun with it. I
Yeah.
could just imagine amazing stuff like from all the Xbox games. A Doom faction, or where you have a Hell, the demons as a faction. Like it'd be so cool with the RTS genre to be able to play with that. I'll keep dreaming for that game to exist. The amount of work and teams working together and all that stuff to actually make it happen, I don't know. But I just imagine a game like that dropping and then being able to do an expansion and an expansion and expansion based on the different franchises that they have, the cool maps they could have. So I want these things to happen. So I'm going to keep advocating for RTS games to be uh, launched and to as many players as possible. I can't wait to see what Respawn cooks with that Star Wars RTS that they're
Oh
working on.
God. Oh,
And I hope it does well too, man.
yep.
It's a genre that I love, so the more of it. Where Tempest Rising is coming out this year,
Yep.
PC. I want that to come to console. So if they see that these games do well, maybe they'll say, okay, well, let's make a reason to bring that to console also. I want to see that, man. The Command and Conquer games still hold up if you play them on backwards compatibility on a
Mm,
Series X. They still
mhm.
hold up really well on console. The only detriment they had is they kept changing the control scheme, where each one of them
Correct.
was pretty good and each one of them worked well within
But
itself.
you had to
So
get
like,
used to it.
but you like why change it each time? You know what I mean? They did one, But yeah, I mean, Lord of the Rings Battle of Middle Earth 2, I want a new one of
That
those.
that
Uh,
has to happen.
yeah, like Embracer Group owns Lord of the Rings now still.
So perfect,
But
bro.
like what are they doing with it? You know, I want to see
Nothing.
RTSs succeed so that way we get some badass franchises
We
making
do.
RTS games.
Yeah. We're gonna see more and more, but
Yeah.
I just think it's exciting, man, and I'm happy the PlayStation 5 because 'cause again, the PlayStation 5 community is massive. The people here in this community, again, yeah, I'm sure most of them never touch an RTS in their life. Okay, that's fine. I don't give a shit about the clown show, right? But I'm sure there is a group of fans out there who did just like Mav and I did back in the day, even when the controls used to suck, right? On console, they weren't great, but we still played the RTSs just because, again, RTSs, if you play them, there's a part of you that turns 7 years old again, setting up all your army guys and having massive battles. They're all your army guys or GI Joe guys or a mixture of GI Joe and He Man, whatever else, and you setting up these massive battlefields and just having a clash of everything. There is a part that's, to me, is what still gets me about RTSs. On top of the strategy, on top of all the other things I do love, I think it still does bring me back to that childhood memory of setting up my own armies, and that's what I love about it. And there's a group of people over on PlayStation, guarantee you, that feel that same way. So they're getting two of the best and brightest. So I hope it does find a home because, like I said, like you said, Matt, the more RTSs, the better. And I think that Phil has a special place in his heart for RTSs. And when he sees a lot of people playing them, he likes to get more. And I want to see Halo Wars 3 greenlit, bro. I really do.
Yeah.
I need it.
It's got to
Um,
happen,
it's
please.
got to happen. All right. Lots of cool stuff going on, man. But let's get into Avowed. Let's get into the thumbnail topic. Again, as Mav said, I have not had a chance to watch all of Carrie Patel's interviews this week. I've not had a chance to read a ton of different comments on what people are so far experiencing um, through the preview process, all that kind of stuff. Um, but let's just start right out the top. We both talked about our hype for Avowed. I think both of us have said, again, me last year, I was pissed that it moved, right? Especially for the reason given, which there wasn't supposedly, it wasn't for polishing reasons. Wasn't, again, you could argue with me till you're blue in the face. Phil doubled down, tripled down on this and said it was just simply because it was too many games at one time. So he moved Avowed. So I'm not going to argue any of that shit. I really don't care, but I was disappointed last year because Avowed was my most anticipated game. You all know this, right? Second half of last year, I wanted to play Avowed. It's always my favorite game that gets moved. Again, I told Mav, I think I said it, but I said it live too. I'm never going to say that whatever game I'm looking forward to is my most hyped game from Xbox anymore because it gets delayed. Just like Starfield, just like I'm not going to do it anymore. So I'm just going to hold off from doing that. But Avowed was it. And then I put it on the back burner because, of course, I knew I wasn't getting it. And we had so many other good games coming out, and obviously the rest is history. Now that we're leading up, and we are only, what are we, from official launch, man? What are we, 8 days away at this point? 9 days away? 15th,
It's
I think, is official launch.
the
Is it
18th is
15th?
the official launch. So
18th is official
12
launch. Okay.
days. Yep.
Okay, so 12 days away. Now that we're here, this has been ramping up. The hype levels for me and Mav have been ramping up again these past month and a half as we've started to get more information. People started talking about it. Some people got to go play it some more on the new builds. We've been hearing more about what they've been doing. We saw some of the rework that they did do. And again, I'm not sitting here arguing that they didn't do work on the game. They obviously did. They took a lot of time to polish it up. But some of the rework that they did with the melee and that kind of stuff, you can see it, right? The hype level is through the roof. The one thing that we've talked about consistently here, whether you agree with us or not, for years and years now, we've been through this battle with everybody, and we're going to continue to be this way. We've always said the consoles in this day and age need to have two options: performance and quality mode. That's all we've ever asked for, right? The 30 frames is not going to be acceptable. There is a third-person mode in Avowed, which is fantastic. It's actually going to get Steel to try it, which again, I'm so happy that Steel's actually going to try it because of the third-person mode. But again, I'm going to play most of the time in this game, probably in first person, a lot like I do in Starfield. Depending on the situation, I'll switch out of the third. But being that it was primarily a first-person game made it needs a 60 frames mode. Doesn't have to be locked, right? We've never demanded lock 60. Give us the option. A lot of us have VRR now. That's becoming more and more standard on TVs and monitors. Give us the option to select the two. So a lot of our talk, Mav, was, are we going to play a PC? We're going to play on console. I think both of us said, hey, if it's 30 frames, which was what one of the original interviews last year when they had the devs on, not Carrie, but when they had some of the devs on there, I think with Cog and Maddie. Shout out to Cog and Maddie, by the way. They did a great interview last year. They said that they were at 30. And they didn't think there was really a need for 60. And we started that again. It was like, oh, no.
Yeah, and it was like an artist or something. Like
yeah.
He was like, oh, let me handle this question. He grabs the mic. Well, we don't really think we need 60 in these kind of games. You know, we're like, what?
What?
Bro? Like, what did you say?
What? No. It's 2024, bro. Come on, man. The gamers have spoken. Whether you believe it or not, the gamers have spoken. Anyways, so fast forward. This week, there was smoke last week. I think we touched on it at some point. But there was smoke last week. Some people were saying that there's potentially a 30, 40, and 60 frames mode on Series X and a 30, 40 mode on Series S. Then we had some people in the community who had preview builds that had tried the new preview builds that for some reason made their videos, which were great videos, whatever else, but they threw in there that it's not going to be 60 out the gate. That's going to take probably some months after launch to get to 60 on console. And it was stated as pretty much fact. And I was really kind of baffled by this because I was like, what? We're getting this smoke that there's multiple options. Like, why would all of a sudden, no, that's not going to happen? So this week, with Carrie Patel being out there doing her final interviews, the rapid fire interview, I don't remember who was it with. Let me see. If
I don't remember the name, but he did a good job.
I
liked that video.
Min-Max, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yes,
maybe.
175 rapid fire questions about Obsidian's Avowed. This was through Min-Max, so you can go watch the Min-Max interview with her. It did a rapid fire as we were talking about, and Carrie Patel, who is the game director, and she's an awesome interview. She seems like a super nice person. Just fired off answers. Right, so it's pretty cool. I gotta go watch the whole thing again.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, she was actually really. It's not an easy thing to do. Like,
no,
that quick of response and answers, just bing bang boom like that. Like, it was just yep. Blah, blah, blah.
When I saw, she was on point. Right.
Yeah, 100%.
Before anybody asks, PlayStation 5 was a no comment. Okay, so, but yeah. I think we all know it's coming to PlayStation 5. Okay, so whatever. But anyways, during that rapid fire, he did ask about 60 frames. And she confirmed on Series X up to 60 frames. Now, she said up to 60 frames. Again, Mav and I, as much as we've said, just give us two options, not the whole PC slate options, just two options on console in this day and age. Again, we've never demanded lock 60. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just give us the option to see how we want to play. She said up to 60. So obviously, I'm going to say here, I'm assuming it's not locked. That's fine. Don't have a problem with it. The fact that they said that she said that, though, if they took this extra time, man, from the delay to implement that now, where they've got it at least on the Series X. I don't know about the Series S, but at least on the Series X, up to 60, man. This is a huge W because now I'm going to try it on my PC. But as you guys all know, just like Starfield, I still play so much on console. Console is my main place to play. Now, with that, unless it's awful, right? Unless it's crazy awful, which I don't believe it will be, I will be able to easily just power on my console at night when I get home from work, fire up Avowed, and slip right into that world and not even think twice about it. Yes, I'm going to play it on PC to see the freaking full board graphics because this world is looking better and better too, Mav, from the screenshots.
Oh, yeah.
Like, bro, those environments are looking fucking phenomenal right now. Obsidian, you guys are crushing it. Again, going back to Outer Worlds, which I played a month or two ago when I fired that thing back up again. This is on another level from that even. I just love how their worlds pop. But anyways, 60 frames, Mav, up to 60 frames. Confirmed for console. Big moment right here for Obsidian. This is a really good move. argue till you guys are blue in the face with your mamas. Okay. If you guys don't agree that we don't need 60 frames, blah, 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 don't care. I think this is a great move. This dispels all of that bullshit that everybody wanted to say. Oh, Xbox devs just can't do 60 frames. They can't get it there. They can't do it at launch. There's a problem. There's a problem. This dispels all of that if they went back and got this up to that point on Series X. So I'm so happy for the team because that conversation is not going to be there, whether right, wrong, or indifferent. That conversation is not going to be had around it. And I think this game gets a little boost from that right out the gate for the people who are going to play on console, which is fantastic.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm excited about that. I think
Yeah.
it like you, it takes the decision making away from me from like
Yes.
worrying about it, feeling like I need to play it in one place over the other. Now I can take full advantage of it, and I get a great experience everywhere. Fidelity is one thing. I've always been happy with fidelity ever since last gen. Kind of think we've been in a good place, right? And I appreciate the fact that developers are always pushing forward with fidelity, but I never wanted it to come at the cost of the option for me to play it at a higher
Yes.
frame rate, right? Because for
Yep.
me, experiencing a lot of these last gen games early on this generation that were updated to 60 was a game changer for me.
Absolutely.
Experiencing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, a big open world like Assassin's Creed game at launch when it or close to launch on consoles, playing at great resolution at 60 frames is like,
Mhm.
wow, I never did that. I remember when they added FPS boost to the Far Cry games. I was like, wow, these are so much better now. And like just that switch from 30 to 60 makes a big difference for me when I'm playing my games. Now, can I still enjoy and play a game at 30? Yeah, sure I can for
Yeah.
sure.
Starfield felt
Right?
great. It did.
And yeah, certain games I think
Mhm.
feel better than others still. It just depends on how smooth it is.
Yep.
Um but 60 is still just on another level for me. Past 60, I start to notice it less,
Of
honestly,
course.
right?
Yeah.
I don't expect it to have to be locked or, um, you know, be 100% 60 frames every single every throughout the entire experience. I think over time with optimization continues on these games, updates and all that kind of stuff, we kind of get there on a lot of these games these days, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I'm glad that we have this at launch. It's what we've been asking
Mhm.
for these games
Yeah.
because it's proven that it can happen. People that said, "Well, it
Yep.
can't," it's impossible with Starfield. No, it's not. You
Mhm.
know,
Nope.
people said it's impossible with this other game. No, it's not. It's all about optimization and priorities of development and all those other kind of things. So, at some point, they decided to make it a priority to give this to the players, and I'm super happy that we get it. And for everybody, I think we all win because something else. I think if you're optimizing for a game to hit 60 frames, it probably means you're also going to get a better optimized game in general, right?
Yeah.
So I think overall, I applaud this. Every game possible, you know, have a 60 frames mode or performance mode and a regular mode. Let the VRR do the work as well. A lot of people have VRR displays. That helps on inconsistent frame rates these days, right? So if you're not able to have a locked frame rate, a lot of times that helps out this with gamers now. So, but yeah, man, I'm glad they gave us the option.
Hmm.
We never said this or the other. We've always
No.
said Pong.
Yep.
Just give us the option, right?
Two options. All we need.
And this what we want. As console gamers, we should all ask for the options. You can have your quality mode, you can have your performance mode. It
Yeah.
sounds like this one might have an in-between mode,
We
so
shall see.
we'll
That'd be
see.
cool if it has the in between mode too. If it's got like a locked 40. That's
Yeah.
dope too because it does work in certain games. People argue about that shit too, but it does feel better. Like
Yeah.
any it really does. Um, some more stuff that came out of the interview though. And this comes from Okami 13, of course, on X, Okami 13 underscore Kami. He's a cool dude. Does a lot of great breakdowns. Uh, no level scaling. On DLC, like I said earlier, it
Mhm.
was a maybe from Carrie. So I think they're probably going to see how it does. Be dope if we get some DLC, obviously.
Yeah.
There are going to be, for the people who have played a lot of Pillars of Eternity, there's going to be some cameos that you're going to recognize. There are about around 100 NPCs in Paradise, the biggest town. You can side with the antagonist. Again, this is what I love, Mav. Like all the other bullshit aside, let me go bad. Let me do stuff that's like not just kind of like, oh, if you want to be kind of mean to this person, kind of be mean to this person, kind of like Dragon Age Available. You can kind of be mean, but it's really not going to change anything. No. This is what Obsidian allows you to do. This is why I love Bethesda. This is why I love all this stuff. Let me side with the bad guys if I want to, right? Again, chances are, unless I really hate the bad guy character, I might side with him in this game. I might go that route because that's what I do. I love going that route. So, anyways, you could side with the antagonist. You could choose to betray your homeland. This is what I freaking love. Increasing dexterity will make your attacks really fast. You can tell your companions when, what to attack, and upgrade their abilities. Sounds like a la Mass Effect, right, Matt?
Yeah.
You can start a new game after rolling credits, but can't continue exploring. Point of no return confirmed, and they said that there will be a warning, so you will know that it's coming up, right? So for those people that hate that, there will be a warning, so you will know. You can dual wield a wand in a pistol. I've said from the beginning, right now it's going to be two pistols, or it's going to be two wands for me, dual wielding wands. Although I did see some of the spell books and the spells and how they're used. Pretty dope. So we'll see how that goes. But kicking is not your only way of quote unquote eating. I hate that word, but anyways, so there's going to be some other melee options. Some of the other stuff, multiple endings. I did see Carrie talk about multiple endings. So I think she said 5 or 7 multiple endings depending on choices made. So again, Obsidian, love it through and through. What else did I hear, Mav? Was there anything else you picked up on? Again, I watched
Trying to-
Colt's video where he had new footage from the playthrough. The melee looked like it felt even better. Again, the graphics to me, Mav, the environments, all the different environments. This is a different Pillars take. I'm going to say that. I would have liked it to have been a little bit more dark and gruesome than currently what I'm seeing. However, that's just personal taste because I did play some of the turn-based Pillars that was more dark, kind of like the
Oh, that
original
game
trailer
is
people were talking about.
very. Those games are
Yeah,
very
very,
dark. Like
very
it's
dark.
just yeah.
Yeah, very cruel. But anyways, I don't really care at this point. I love Obsidian so much. I want the story. I did hear too, Mav, that people are guessing because Carrie did say it's about the same size as Outer Worlds.
Yeah.
And so people are now saying that they played through Outer Worlds in 15 to 20 hours. I don't know how, again, I will go back to this. I wish I was like you guys. I wish I could play game. How do you play RPGs? And again, this will not be open world. Colt did confirm
Open zone.
that it's certainly not open world, but he did say the areas are pretty damn big and there's a lot to explore. Cool. I'm good with that. That's the way Outer Worlds, it might even be a little bit bigger than Outer Worlds. But how do you guys just run through games like that? 15, 20 hours? I wasn't off the first planet in Outer Worlds, I don't think, in the first 12
Yeah.
hours. Like, I don't know how you guys do. So I heard that at first and I'm like, oh shit. And they said 30 to 40 hours for completionist. I'm like, what am I? I'm like, 15, 20 hours is a small game. I'm like, oh, wait, hold on. They're saying it's like Outer Worlds. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that's for like normal folks. Like, I don't play games that way. Like, my RPG experience is completely different. So this is going to be a big ass game for me. So I'm like, okay, cool. We're good.
Yeah. I mean, Outer Worlds to me is a big game. You know.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's what I heard 15, 20 hours. I'm like, what?
Back in the day, we used to consider 20-hour games as very big games. We like Mass Effect. We used to consider
Sure.
those like huge games,
But even
right?
Mass Effect 1, I still play for more longer than like I go through
Yeah.
everything. Like I'm not like anyways. It's crazy.
But now it's like
Yeah.
that people make so much time about like when they said Starfield, and then people were talking about beating it
Yeah.
in like 10 hours or 12 hours or whatever ridiculous stuff they were talking about. I'm like,
Yeah.
what did you do?
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not. You can play a games however you want, but like
Absolutely.
games like this are really not made for that style of gameplay. Yeah, they're more meant for the immersive exploration, being the character, making decisions, experiment, finding things, like all these different things are kind of what these kind of games are about. And decisions, as well play a huge role. So dialogue, side
Of course.
stuff,
Yep.
like it's tons of things to do and take your time with. So um I'm looking forward to it because like I like Outer Worlds, but I'm more into like a fantasy style RPGs.
Sure.
So this was
Definitely.
always my thing with this game is like it's taken what Obsidian is known for, but putting it in my favorite setting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
this is also their first chance to really have it fully backed and funded and developed under the wing of Xbox to, not have to necessarily sacrifice on stuff. You know what I mean? Or like have to like, well, like did they self-publish the Pillars games? Like
No.
I forget who published those, but I couldn't imagine
Uh,
they had a massive budget,
maybe
you know.
no.
So yeah, this is kind of like I know Private Division did Outer Worlds from,
Yeah, they did Outer Worlds, correct.
um, but yeah, and that's like a
Oh no,
offshoot
it was.
from Take
I
Two.
should have known. Is Paradox, of course.
Paradox.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course. One of my
Yeah.
favorite freaking publishers of strategy games. Hands
So
down.
yeah, I'm excited to see what they make here, man. Like,
Yeah.
I'm excited the for the companions, like to have the conversations. Like, it seems like they're gonna have very well written, strong characters here
Mm.
in the game.
Mhm.
Um, she mentioned that Kai is seeming to be a lot of people's favorite. But
Yeah.
then they gave a nod to
Isn't
another
he voiced by
character.
Garrus?
Maybe I can't
I
remember.
think he's the same actor as Garrus. Yeah, that's why a lot of people are falling in love with him
Right.
again. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But
Um,
anyways, yeah.
and then there was another character, I can't remember the name, but she said a lot of people were liking that one too. So yeah, it's just gonna be a fun time, man. Like it's been a like their games get compared to Bethesda games, obviously, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Similarities, yeah.
but there's still something really different about Obsidian games,
Mhm.
you know.
Correct.
And like, going back to like Alpha Protocol, things like just they all have like a unique original flavor of and stand out among for being there's really no other game like each Obsidian game. It's not like this game is exactly like that one, this game's exactly like that one. Um, but one thing it's I think it's at the beginning of the interview, or maybe it's in a different interview. They asked her about Outer Worlds 2. And she's not, I don't think she's necessarily as directly involved with that one, or whatever. But
Mhm.
that one's just gonna be more of all the stuff that you love from Outer Worlds, right? And so that's going to be like, okay, that's going to feel like Outer Worlds. So that's their
Mhm.
first chance to really take another big game and expand upon it. But I think they're going to do the same thing with Avowed here, and it's going to be a unique experience for each game that they have. And man, Obsidian is what a home run for acquisition that was for Microsoft and Xbox. Like what they've delivered so far, and
Yep.
since they've been acquired with Grounded, you had Pentiment, you have Avowed coming, you have Outer Worlds 2 coming in the same year, and they got other stuff cooking.
Of
So,
course. They're not done. Again, they just brought back the original writer for New Vegas, right?
yep.
So, and he's going to be directing sounds like another
Do
IP.
something.
He says not New Vegas too, and I said, well, yeah, because it's not going to be set in Vegas. So, yeah, I mean, again, he's not lying. It's going to
New
be it's
Dallas.
Fallout Chicago,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know. Yeah, Dallas. Yeah, Dallas, whatever. New York,
New
right?
Minnesota.
God, boring as fuck. Anyways, um, So yeah, but I think that like you said, man, you know my love for Obsidian. You know how much I talked about them as being one of the best, or could turn out to be the best purchase. That they've always been Bethesda's little brother. Again, I still want to see them do a big giant game. I really do, because I think they can pull it off. They're masters at the smaller version of Bethesda games, but I really think they could pull off a full blown version of it as well. I want to see them do it someday. But if they're going to stay in their lane and this is what they want to do, they are, again, coming into their own underneath Xbox. They have, their writing is second to none. Their world development, their lore, their characters, the consequences, decisions, and consequences they put in their games. They are up there with the best of the best when it comes to that style of game. And I love that style of game. So for me, Obsidian has always been one of my favorites. And I knew under Xbox that they'd be able to flourish. Again, they make so many cool different style games too. Like you said, Mav, they've done a lot and they're just going to do more. And I think they're actually growing. I think that obviously this sign that they brought that I forget what's his name, back from New Vegas, is that they are expanding some more too, because they've been delivering. And I really hope that Avowed, it does have some turmoil around it. There is a group of gamers, obviously, as we've talked about with the culture war stuff, that is still out here battling against Avowed. I'm hoping that Avowed is one of the games that takes the leap over that shit, obviously. And again, if I don't like it, if it's weird shit, if there's bad writing or whatever else, I'm like, just because Obsidian's my favorite game, I'll be the first one to be back here telling you guys about it if I'm disappointed in Avowed. But I really think Avowed has a chance to be a unique, even though it's not a new IP, it is going to be a new IP because a lot of people never played the original Pillars. But all that lore in that world, even if they're playing with it a little bit, is so built just right for Obsidian, for the kind of character development, the kind of decisions that they're talking about in these interviews that Carrie's talking about. That's what I'm excited to see. And exploration wise, tons of weapons supposedly to find, tons of stuff to do. Like, that's what I'm excited to see. So I can't wait for this. And then Outer Worlds 2, like you said, Mav, is going to be the next big thing, because I think they are going to just take Outer Worlds, but blow it up. Like they said, 2 times, like their joke trailer or whatever it was, 2 times everything. I think that's pretty much what it's going to be. And to me, now we're starting to get close. We're starting to get to that bigger size game, and I can't wait to see what they do with Outer Worlds too. But
Yeah.
Avowed, I'm back, brother. That hype is real. Oh, it's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be so much fun.
Not too long to wait. What, when are the are reviews dropping early? Because
That
I
I
mean,
don't
they
know when the
give
embargo
people
comes.
plenty of time to play it.
Yeah, they are giving people plenty of time to play it. I'd like to see when the embargo gets up too. Um, Speaking of reviews, real quick, Mav, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 this week. As we talked about in the opening a little bit, both of us are waiting on this. This was going to be a day one for me. And then, like I said, just real life and just gaming in general right now with everything I got going on, I just couldn't justify it. I am going to be playing this. Like, I'm not, it's not going to be down the road here this year. But I'm going to be playing it. I'm going to be jumping into it at least. Open Critic right now is at 89. Let's be real. This is a 90 game. Okay. This is a 90 plus game. Eurogamer, and then one other bullshit site, which I love when the devs come out and just call it the bullshit sites. Eurogamer gave it a freaking 60, and some other bullshit site gave it a 50, which dropped it out of the 90 range, like just to get clicks. And they called it out right away because it was like,
Yeah.
come on, bro. So came out to rave reviews, man, rave reviews. Everybody's talking about it. Again, there's some people who think it's too slow in the beginning. Shout out to Hogue, who said the beginning is not appealing to him at all. That's kind of the way the first one was. This game is not high fantasy. This is
This is
realism.
real medieval shit.
Yes, real medieval sim shit, survival shit. Like this is. But this has got tons of humor to it, which is great. Tons, again, this game will give you as much as you want to put into it. If you want to go explore, if you want to go, again, you could sit and pick flowers all day to become a better alchemist. Like, you literally can do that. You can go for hours picking flowers, upping your skill. Like, that's the choices you have in this game. From everything I'm hearing, I'm super excited, as I knew I would be. I was already excited for this game. Warhorse, don't mess around. There was some controversy around this game. It blew past that controversy. People were trying to make controversy. Again, both sides have their extremes. Both sides do have their legit grifters. There was some legit grifting going on in this game. Trying to call out the devs. It became bullshit anyways. Sold 1 million copies in first day. And it's already turning a profit. So
Yeah.
shout out to Warhorse. the thing about Warhorse is, let me see if I've got. Do they have stats on Warhorse?
How
Warhorse.
many devs and stuff?
Yeah,
While you're
developer.
looking that up, I know I know this is a conversation we had a while ago, but I know
Yeah.
why I never played Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. Why is that?
Because it came out a week after Halo 2.
Oh, well, yeah,
And
that probably would have shot you. Yeah, that
yeah,
would've been
I mean Halo 2 is my favorite
yeah.
thing of all time, and like I know
Right.
lifed Halo 2 for a very long time. Like I mean I'm talking about every night, like 8 hours, like just nothing but Halo 2 with the buddies back in the day. I mean that
Oh,
was big big time, you know.
right.
But that
Obviously.
was a game changer back then. It was like matchmaking and multiplayer, party chat, all that stuff was just like bam.
That's yeah,
Yeah, or
no,
not
that's a
party
perfect
chat, but
excuse.
game chat. Yeah.
Perfect excuse. Um, so okay, so there were 131 employees in 2019. It had grown to about 250 by 2024 to finish out this game. So we'll just average it out. We'll say about 170 people, 175 people made this game, somewhere in that neighborhood total. Not a huge team.
Wonder what the
Not a huge team.
budget was.
I wonder what the budget was. Well, I mean, they said they're already making money, so 1 million
Yeah.
copies just off the top, it's 70 million, right?
I
Which
mean,
is $70.
graphically, scope, and
Yeah.
everything. It's
Yeah.
amazing how a team like this can make something that other teams can't for
Huge world, Crytek
five,
engine.
500, $700 million or whatever these crazy
Right.
budgets are. And it all comes down to the talent of the devs and the tools, that they're using to make the games and how they use them. Gotta love it, man.
You do. And I think it's a great example. And that's why I was bringing it up because I think it is a great example in this day and age, again, of what can be done by a dedicated team. And not to say that these other teams aren't dedicated. It's never about, oh, it's just because these guys have more passion than these guys over here. It's not what it's about. Sure, gonna be some of that. It's gonna happen, just human nature between teams. But what I'm saying is that this industry is so worried, but they're the ones who are creating these 500 person dev teams, right? These 3, 4, 500 person dev teams, allowing 6, 7 years of development on a game. But you still got these other dev teams that still do a lot of the same stuff, but the old way, and put out these games like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 with obviously a budget that probably was somewhere between 50 million, like Alan Wake 2 money, 50 million, 60 million, um, and have success and have it look and feel like a AAA full budget, which it is, full budget AAA game. But what I'm saying is all the bells and whistles. This is a huge open world, massive open world. Crytek engine. And they pulled it off, man. And again, according to everybody, the performance wise, it's better than the first one. The first one had a ton of bugs. That was a very small team that made the first one. The first one was made by literally, I think, under 50 people at some point. It might even been less than that. But they took all the lessons and made this game. And this is the road forward for a lot of teams. Again, not every team's built the same. Not every game is made the same way. I get it. Not every engine works the same way. Not every story is going to be able to have a game developed around kind of like this. I'm just saying it's still possible in this day and age to pull these games off like this. The fact that this team now gets to sit back after the first day, sell 1 million copies, and then kick back, light the cigars, and say it's all gravy from here on out. Let's just keep polishing this game and make it better, start working on DLC, whatever they're going to do. That's what we should be seeing more of in this industry. What I think that a lot of publishers and devs are looking at trying to get done nowadays. So hats off to Warhorse. Happy for them. I will be jumping in at some point here this year and checking out Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. But man, I'm just so happy for that team. The team's been put through a lot. They had a lot of flack and a lot of attacks back and forth and all ups and downs. And again, that's what we get nowadays, like it or not. But they got through all of it and had a successful launch, and they're kicking ass. I think concurrent Steam I think they topped out at like 170 or something like that the other day, maybe a little bit more than 170, which is massive for this type of game. So shout out to Warhouse. I'm super happy for those dudes over there.
Yeah, I think I looked it up earlier because I was just looking at what games were popular right now and seeing how it did, and it topped out at 185,000
Okay,
so
so it did
far.
do 185. Perfect. Man, freaking wow. So, but I'm hearing nothing but great things from most people. Like again, the humor's all
Yeah,
there. Like you could
and that's
use to
just
do
on
some
Steam. So
crazy
if you,
shit.
you count
Yeah.
Xbox, you count the Xbox PC store, you count PlayStation. There's I wonder how many
Pre-orders that
players.
was high on some of those stores too.
Yeah,
So,
so I
yep.
think overall it's gonna be a franchise that becomes like a big deal.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe they do something different next time. Maybe they go like CD Project Red did and start with like one franchise, and the next thing they do is they start working on another one that people get insanely hyped for, becomes this big massive thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like their next one is like a futuristic game or like a modern day game or something. I could imagine the talent there being able what they're able to make with this, just doing insane things, man.
And they got a cult following. Like
Yeah,
Remedy with Alan Wake, they now have a cult following because the first one was a cult hit. This is now broken out, right? Beyond that, but even people know the actors for a lot of the characters in this game, like they do with Alan Wake, right? Again, I'm not that dude who follows the actors around all the damn time, but that has been a thing. They're extremely, all of them or most of them are extremely engaged with the community and are constantly talking to them. They did exactly what you just said, man. They
yeah,
they they took the next step, and now, like I said, they get to kick back, light the cigars, continue to polish this game, work on some DLC. But like you just said, they got the freedom to start choosing their destiny now. Now, what do they want to do? Maybe they want to do something completely different. Maybe they want to continue Kingdom Come Deliverance. Maybe they'll just work on number three. Or maybe they will break away and try something new. Maybe they'll try a smaller. Maybe they'll expand their team and go two teams. Like this is the beauty of this industry still. As many problems as it has, you still are seeing success stories like Warhorse and what can still be done here, which tells me that underneath a lot of the bloat is still a very healthy, viable industry that is continuing to grow. And we've heard the numbers. The PC market, especially, is growing. Um, this is still a good place to be if you want to develop games. It's not for the weak of heart at all, and it's not for the weak of mind or emotions either, because you're going to get beat up. But man, if you still want to come make games, there's a lot of potential out here for some very, very big success stories, whether you're making a small game or going for a little bit bigger game. So gotta love to see it, man. Gotta love to see it still.
yeah. So I wonder how well, like how big this will do. Hey, this was an Embracer group too, right?
Yes, correct. It is. Yep.
So that's probably helped them some.
Yep.
Like that this is becoming a bigger franchise for them. So they're probably pretty happy about that. But yeah, I think this franchise is gonna keep going. Um I'm looking forward. I want to play it, man. Fuck.
It looks so good.
I want to be playing it right now, honestly, but it is what
Right.
it is.
It's that FOMO, bro. FOMO. It's a great game. It's got tons of reviews and people are playing it. And it looks, again, the screenshots look fantastic. And this is one of those freedom games where it's a sandbox. So you do get to do it. Again, I'm not lying when I say it is a survival RPG, but it is set in a sandbox. So whatever you want to go do, you go do. And there's tons of side shit and randomness that you just run into, kind of like Bethesda
Yeah.
open worlds, right? Random characters, right? That you could miss or that you could meet, and shit can go sideways. You can go drinking all night. I saw somebody too did a video. You commit enough crimes, because you can commit crime and you get caught. If you commit enough crimes, they've actually got a whole scene where you get hung in this game. They've actually set it
Oh,
up a
really?
full, yeah, you full flat dead, over with. But they go through the whole thing, like, and they hang you. So yeah, you can go crazy in this game. Like it is one of those great sandbox RPGs. Just tough. It is tough. There's no
Yeah.
doubt about it. The combat and everything is tough, man. So,
Oh, yeah,
all
so many
right,
games to look forward to, bro.
bro. It's again this year after last year. I have so many games that I have yet bought that I want to buy from last year. Carry forward to this year. This year is going to be even more than that this year, the way things are looking, just with my time schedule and
Yeah.
everything else. Bro, it's like I said,
Do you
they can
think there's
stop
a
making games.
chance this one could be game of the year contender?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Early.
know it's early this year,
It's early.
but
Yep. It's early, but yeah, it should be in the conversation still. That's the kind of fans again that they have now. Like they have
Yeah.
that rabid fan base that Remedy does with Alan Wake. They have that fan base where people will be still talking about this game, still playing this game come towards the end of the year. So yeah, I definitely think it could be in the conversation. Now, there's going to be a ton of competition as well,
Oh,
of
I mean,
course, this year.
GTA 6 actually
Well,
happens in fall. I mean, you got to
whatever
like
Switch
who
2
to
is going to
see.
bring, I mean, whatever Switch 2
Yeah.
is going to bring, we know Nintendo's going to be in the mix. Obviously, I mean,
If Fable
there's a
drops actually in
right.
2025.
Doom could be a game of the year. We know Doom's been up there
Yeah.
before. Like Xbox has a chance this year with multiple games being in the
Outer
conversation,
Worlds
right?
2,
Yep.
Avowed could be up there. Yeah, Doom the Dark Ages could be up there.
Yep. Yeah, this is gonna be a massive year.
Yeah. Indiana
Massive.
Jones could actually
Again with
get
PlayStation. Yeah. I just hope that Troy gets his flowers and that they
yeah.
actually talk about it again so that there is some awards this year for Indiana Jones because it does deserve it for sure.
I just don't think the people that vote will think about it.
They won't.
It'll be
They
like
won't.
back burner.
Especially with all the again, if this was like an average year for gaming, maybe, but this year, no. I mean, again, nothing's guaranteed or locked in set in stone. These games have to drop and they have to perform, but there's just too much potential out here this year. We're gonna have high regarded games this year that are up
Yeah.
for game of the year all throughout the year. Like it's just gonna keep going. So, but I think Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is one of those games that stands out enough by itself, just because the people know it, that it is going to carry, even though it's early this year. It'll carry in by the end of the year
Yeah.
for sure. Yep.
Right on. Oh, did you see this Pong?
What?
Um,
What do we got?
it was in the gaming news group thing earlier. That Rainbow
Uh,
Six Siege 2 reveal
oh,
could be happening.
yeah, that was interesting. I I don't know how I feel about this. Like, I can't remember. Did we talk about it? Remember to talk about with Steel? Like, were they going to move on ever from Rainbow Six? Like, I'm happy if this is the case. Like, for again, I'm not a Rainbow Six Siege guy, but obviously, eventually, you got to put the old one to bed. You got to try something new. But then the argument is, but that's your breadwinner. If you are Ubisoft right now, why mess with it? Right? People are still playing it nonstop. It's still a popular esport game for sure. But yeah, this would be dope, right? If they're going to announce this, I think a lot of people will be excited. There's always going to be fear of what they mess with, but yeah, I mean, last 24-hour peak for Rainbow Six Siege one, which has been out for how long, Mav? What are we going on? How long? 12 years, 15 years?
Like 9, or they had like
Oh,
season
nine?
9 or something
Okay,
now, maybe
there were
10.
67,000 players on Steam.
Yeah, it's hugely
That's
popular
hugely
still. It's
popular.
like Ubisoft's lifeline right now.
Yeah.
So maybe it
So
would
that
make sense to, but I think so according
yeah.
to the rumors, like this is via Insider Gaming, is that it's okay, so it's a rumor that it's going to be at an event
Mhm.
SI 2025.
Yep.
The post also claims that the game is internally referred to as Siege X and will feature a complete engine overhaul along with a graphical upgrade in textures and models. So I'm wondering if in a way they'll be doing like kind of like a Overwatch 2 type thing.
Could be.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like relaunch, take the existing player base into the new version, and so you're not separating the player base out, right?
Mhm.
And kind of generate a
Yeah,
new
you can't do
excitement
that.
over it.
You don't wanna do that. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a
You just
multi. I
don't
mean,
want an
it's
Overwatch 2 situation. That's the whole
yeah,
problem. Like, that's what everybody fears, right? You fuck it up, right? And you take what you had, which was going great, and you just, you shit all over it. You don't want that to happen, especially Ubisoft because they need it, right? So, obviously, this is gonna have to be done right. People have been asking for it, but, I mean, I'll be curious to see how much they change or what they don't change, but they just bring it up to date, that's cool too. If they just do an engine update. It says also that they don't think they're gonna do any new they won't host any of the old events through this new Rainbow Six Siege, but they will be hosting new events. So they are obviously going to do something a little bit different with it. So,
yeah.
I don't know,
We'll see, man.
risky.
I just kind of miss Rainbow Six also being like a campaign
course.
and
Of course, bro.
multiplayer and co-op and all this other kind of things, you
Breach and
know?
clear, baby.
Yeah.
Breach and clear.
I kind of
Let's go.
wish we could get that, but
Yep.
I think Rainbow Six is just transitioned now into it's always going to be this going forward or
Mhm.
some form of this because it's been so damn successful for them as that, right? And
Correct.
we'll see what happens in the future with the rest of the Clancy brand. But anyway, it'll give me a reason to revisit it if it's true.
Yeah,
But
for
man,
sure.
I'll tell you one thing. Now, I love Rainbow Six, and I played a lot of Rainbow Six Siege early on.
Okay.
But I gotta say, the fan base or the player base in Rainbow Six Siege is probably the one of the most toxic out there.
Yeah.
And it like as far as if you go in and you're playing with players you don't know and stuff, unless something has changed, like it can be a ruthless experience for new players, and it's something I
Mhm.
think they need if they haven't already, they need to crack down on. For sure, because team killing and all that other
Oh,
BS
yeah.
going on in there for, like, at the start of matches and all that kinda stuff is just stupid and ridiculous with that game. Sometimes it can, like I've gone back to Rainbow Six Siege at some points and be like, "Alright, I'm gonna dive back
Mhm.
into this for the first time in a long time," and then I spawn and just, like, get killed by a teammate at the spawn of the game, just for whatever reason, and it's like, "Okay, well, I'm just gonna turn the shit off. I don't even feel like getting back into it right now. So yeah, I feel like they
Too
need to figure
much.
out a way to, figure that out. But maybe they already have because it's been so long since I've dove back into it.
Yeah. I probably not. All I've ever heard is like if again, you don't know how to play, you're going and there's a newbie, you're gonna get
But even
they're
if
gonna
you
toast you.
like, I know how to play Siege like
Right.
100%, like all the stuff and like, but even just like if it's a random and you're not part of their group. You know what I mean? Like you drive
Mhm.
if you're not part of their group or they see a player that they don't recognize, sometimes they'll just kill you or something.
Right.
Like it's
Yeah.
just stupid.
It's over with. It is done.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. Again, Ubisoft taking a risk. That's fine. They got to. They got to do something, man. Again, I think big changes are coming for Ubisoft this year. By the end of the year, we'll see some massive changes one way or the other. So like, if they're going to try this, great. But again, I want Ubisoft to do something, Mav. I mean, again, they're probably never going to sell off the Tom Clancy brand, but I almost wish they would. So somebody else could try.
Yeah.
But neither here nor there. Got anything else, Mav?
No, I don't think so. I think we kind of ran through the
Okay.
gamut this week.
Yeah, starting to crash here a little bit.
Yeah.
I can feel it. So, um, but yeah, no, this was like I said, light week of news, but we had a lot of cool gaming news this week to kind of touch on smaller stuff. But again, lots of exciting stuff, new games, announcements, release dates being announced. Obviously, I don't even know if I said it because I'm half out of my mind. But we were talking about Metal Gear Solid. The actual release date that they gave along with the trailer, I don't actually said it. I think I said it, but it's August 28th, 2025. So this year, August 28th. Uh, hashtag. Oh, we didn't talk about this real quick too, man. We should probably talk about this because we did mention it. Strauss 2K had their financials meetings today.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Matt?
yeah.
Yeah, we got to talk about this real quick. Um, that's where they announced stuff. Obviously, he was asked concerning GTA 6. He said, "Could it slip? Sure, but we're very confident it's fall this year." And he goes, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said, "When you say for sure, that's when it happens." He goes, "So I'm not going to say that," but he goes, "We are very confident we're going to hit fall of this year." So the whole industry's on hold still. But it sounds like Strauss this late in this year. Now it's February. It sounds like they're ready to rock and roll this fall. That they're going to shoot for it. What do you
Yeah.
think, Matt? Do you think it hits, or do you think it slides?
I think it happens. I think they
Okay.
pull it off.
Okay.
I think it's been in development so long. They waited longer to announce it. I
Yeah.
think I think they actually do it. I a lot of people compare it to the other Rockstar announcements and
Mhm.
launches and stuff, but I feel like this one's different, because they didn't have like GTA 5 is so damn successful still and online. It's like there was less pressure to meet certain announcement and release date, probably that they probably waited longer to announce it till they were comfortable, right? And I think targeting that, I think they'll pull it out. I think they got so much behind it, and I don't think he would have keep doubling down on it unless he was confident at this point. But who knows? It's just shareholder stuff, and they want people to invest. So maybe they came up with some tagline later. Oh, they just needed to fix some couple things. Or I'm just more curious about like what they're gonna launch, how they're gonna launch it, like pricing wise, and a lot of the stupid chatter about
$100
$100
bucks.
games and
$100
stuff, and
bucks. 100
like
bucks.
maybe they separate the multiplayer from the single player. I'm just curious about how all that's gonna break down. I think we'll find out. I'm wondering when we'll find out. Summer, I'm guessing
It's gotta be. I mean, if
more
they're gonna do
so.
fall, yeah, yeah. They're gonna have a big blowout. They'll do one of
Yeah,
their big specials.
yeah. I think
They
we'll probably get like multiple
yeah.
trailer video type deals leading up to launch. Probably like one focus on the campaign, like gameplay wise, the world. One focus on the characters, then maybe one focus on online or something like
Mhm.
that. Um, Leading up to launch. So it'll be massive, dude. Whenever it comes out, I wonder when Fable's coming.
That's $1 million. I mean, again, the whole industry's on hold for the second half of this year until this actually works out one way or the other for the most part. Like unless
Yeah,
you're in I mean, again, I don't even think people want to mention November, December, just in case they say, "Oh, well, we're not going to hit fall, but we're still going to hit this year. We're
yeah.
coming out in November." Like this unicorn is the black hole of gaming. Like it literally is, and nobody wants to be around it. Uh, GTA 5, by the way, is updated to 210 million copies sold now. It's so
Yeah,
stupid, bro. Like I said earlier, Red Dead 2 is now at 70.
that's crazy. I had one more question for you before we head out.
Yeah, shoot, shoot, shoot.
So Iron Galaxy had
Oh
layoffs
yeah,
to have.
yeah,
They said that like for the survival of their studio in the long term, they had like laid off 66 people. I think, if I
yeah. It's
remember
66.
correctly.
Yeah, this was a means of last resort for us.
Yeah.
It was a measure we do not take lightly to enable our long-term survival.
Now, the question I had was our theory of Killer Instinct 2 development
Yeah,
and them working on that. Does this kind of
yeah,
dispel that? Because you would think they would be ramping up more so if that was the case. So
it does.
if there is somebody working on a Killer Instinct 2 with this news, I don't think it's Iron Galaxy.
Yeah, and it sounds like they just took that job to update Killer Instinct 1
Out of
as kind of a
desperation or
side
something. Yeah.
desperation money.
It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
why
Yep.
why would Microsoft even do that if they're not doing KI2, or
Else
maybe
is
they were
doing it.
working on it, got canceled internally or something, and this
Maybe
happened.
somebody else is doing it.
Maybe some,
Maybe,
yeah,
maybe obviously, I don't know. We've had our thoughts on this, man, but obviously, what's his face over at Mortal Kombat? If because there was multiple projects in the works, right? He said that.
yeah. And remember Special Nick, I think
Yeah.
was it like 2 years ago or so, was like
Yeah.
they signed a deal with somebody, a third party company, to work on the next Killer Instinct 2 was one of
And
his rumors. I think now, the Platinum Games Ninja Gaiden thing came true, so
yes. Yeah.
sometimes we got to wait on these things. So maybe it is a third party company, and
And
this was just a deal for this game to try and garner interest for. I don't know.
yeah, maybe they just hired him to bring it up and just make sure it brought up to speed again and all that kind of stuff. And but they've already got the deal and it works for Killer Instinct too. Ed Boon said he dropped Mortal Kombat to work on Killer Instinct. That's a direct quote.
Yeah,
That he would do that. So maybe they cut that deal a while back, and that was one of the multiple projects that Boone and his team were working on.
yeah, I just found it interesting because I always thought with the Iron Galaxy, like it was just made sense that hey, they were brought in, just get their feet wet working with this, and while they're working on the second game too. But I don't think that's the case if they just slayed off 66 people. So anyway, that's all. That's all I got, Pong Soul. I know you're dying over there, so hacking up along. Um, but man, Alvin says maybe they were busy with Rumbleverse. Yeah, Rumbleverse was the Iron Galaxy downfall. They had a lot in that game. They thought it was going to be a big takeoff battle royale thing for them. Ended up flopping miserably. But yeah, Arc System Works. Maybe they got the contract. Alvin says maybe. I don't know like who the other candidates would have been. Could it be like Pong said? Could be NetherRealm. Would have been a third party partner. I mean, we know now that Xbox is willing to go to third party companies and publish, you know, first party games and stuff like that. So and do partnership deals like that. So it's really up in the air for anybody. I mean, they literally just did this with Ninja Gaiden, right? I mean, they don't own the rights to Ninja Gaiden, but they're publishing Ninja Gaiden that's also from Koei Tecmo, right? Um, so when Ninja Gaiden comes out, you'll see Koei Tecmo, you'll see Team Ninja, you'll see Platinum Games. So maybe you'll see a similar situation for New Killer Instinct. Maybe you'll see Xbox Game Studios, Microsoft. You'll see another publisher like WB, and you'll
Well, we
see
know Cat Condition
NetherRealm. Yeah,
WB's in,
yeah,
so
100%.
it's certainly possible they cut that deal, just like Koei Tecmo
Yeah.
did.
All right, let's
But just
get
like
you
that,
out of
my
here,
throat
Paul.
gave out. Yeah, my throat gave out.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's been fine. You
Perfect
guys have
timing.
seen me and heard me, but back like instantaneously, it just pop,
Like I'm
it's gone.
God.
Yep, I'm gone. I'm coughing like crazy. Hey, everybody, thank you for joining us on another episode of PM and the PM. Missed you all last week. Thanks for being here this week and showing up. Again, not a huge week of news. Appreciate every single one of you. Again, giving us your most valuable commodity, which is your time. You can never get back again. So thank you for that as always. Never expected, but always appreciated around here. And Matt, tell everybody what we got going on, man. What you got coming up this weekend?
Well, maybe some game streams or just some random stuff coming up this weekend. But tomorrow we do have XUP Xbox Ultimate Podcast at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll see if Pong can make it. I have my doubts right now. I have serious doubts if Pong will be there tomorrow night. But if not, that's cool. Also on Sunday, there is another show coming back. Shop podcast. So PTK had reached out to me, asked if I could potentially be there. So I think
Not this
so.
Sunday. Not this
Not
Sunday.
this Sunday, next Sunday.
No, because this is Super Bowl Sunday. He forgot. So he
Okay.
can't. He moved it. He said next Sunday
Right.
we'll be
Okay.
our first. He apologized. He put out a post too and said, "Oh, I totally biffed it. I forgot it was Super Bowl Sunday. We're
Yeah.
not doing it this
Next
weekend." So,
yeah, next
yep,
week then maybe.
yep.
And then I got Monday FSP at 9 p.m. Eastern time. And back here next Thursday if Pong's all good to go. We'll see how he recovers.
I usually recover
Mr.
pretty fast.
Sniffles. Mr.
Oh,
Sniffles.
I powered through, brother.
You did. You did
I
great.
canceled shit.
We'll
I
see.
know, I
We'll see
powered
what
through.
happens tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night might be a different story. Might be a different story.
Might be.
Might need to rest this thing for living split screen on
Yeah.
Saturday morning. Um, no, thanks, Mav. Appreciate you, brother, so much, man. For everything you do behind the scenes. And Caitlin, again, beautiful thumbnail, as always, my dear. So thank you for everything you do as well to make all these shows go. Again, I'll keep it short, everybody, because I don't know how long this is gonna last. So Pong Soul, you know how to find me. Follow me, I'll follow you back. You guys know the drill. If I'm there tomorrow night, great. If I'm not, still join the family right here for Xbox Ultimate, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. And then Saturday mornings, living split screen. We should be live again this weekend. Steel should be good to go. I should be good to go. Supposed to get 6 to 10 inches of snow on Saturday, so that should be freaking fun to add to everything else. Whatever. Welcome to Minnesota. But I will be there for living split screen, 3+ hours Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time, Saturday morning, living split screen, me and Steel. Buckle up, get ready for that one. We're going to have some things to talk about this weekend for sure, because we'll dive into some shit this weekend. And then otherwise, It's a golden age of gaming. I'm not even gonna get into next week, folks, but it's a golden age of gaming. So please have a great weekend, a great Friday, a great start to your weekend, and get out there, play what you love what you play, and I'll talk to you all real soon. Have a good night, everybody. Matt, get us out of here.
Peace out, everyone. Good night. Take it easy. Play some games. Bye.